He was truly the leader of the organization. He was truly the leader of the organization.
Tell me something. What do you know about Wakanda? About Wakanda? About Wakanda? About Wakanda? About Wakanda? About Wakanda?
Two wrongs don't make us right away. Tell me something's wrong. Party all of our lives away. They take you home.
Oh, baby, I want you. Baby, I need you. I wanna see you. Baby, I wanna go up again. Baby, I wanna go up again. Oh, baby, I want you. Baby, I need you. I wanna see you. Baby, I wanna go up again. Baby, I wanna go up again. All night, all night. Your body's on fire and your drinks on nice. All night, all night. Your body's on fire and your drinks on nice.
Oh my word, oh my gosh, 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 oh my word, oh my gosh. Everybody say kiki, kiki. Everybody say kiki, kiki. Everybody say kiki, kiki. Everybody say kiki, kiki. Bam boom tete, lum paso, boom kurug. Bam boom tete, lum paso, boom kurug. Bam boom tete, lum paso, boom kurug. Bam boom tete, lum paso, boom kurug.
Oh, baby, I want you. Baby, I need you. I wanna see you. Baby, I wanna go up again. Baby, I wanna go up again. Oh, baby, I want you. Baby, I need you. I wanna see you. Baby, I wanna go up again. Baby, I wanna go up again. All night, your body's on fire and your drinks on nice. All night, your body's on fire and your drinks on.
We go higher, 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 higher,
I get the pounds for you. I get the euros for you. I get the naira for you. You know the money, babu. You just be nice to me. I get the plenty money. I said that you wine for me. That's what you change out for me. I know you need this money. I get the plenty for you. I said that you do it for me. That's what you change out for me. Sure because you find money. Sure because you're beautifully. I want you to see the money. She gon' get down for me. Oh yeah, down, baby, down. Oh yeah, down, let's go down. She look like talking loud. Oh yeah, down, baby, down. Oh yeah, down, really go down. She look like talking loud. Okay, nana go, na. Okay, na, nana go. Okay, oh nana go, na. Okay, nana go, na. After she see the money, she gonna call me honey. She said she go wine for me. She said she go do it for me. I just dash her money. She gonna cry for me. She die for me. And I go show you. Plenty love and money. And I go show you. Maybe if you shake her for me. And I go love you. Now you don't go tire for me. I just wanna get to show you. Even you say what tell me say I told you. Oh yeah, down, baby, down. Oh yeah, down, let's go down. She look like talking loud. Oh yeah, down, baby, down. Oh yeah, down, let's go down. She look like
Chilling in the club and performing. I'm a nigga fresh and balling. You got the sweet like honey, and I just want my money.
Chilling in the club and fun. I'm a nigga fresh and balling. You better the sweet like honey, and I just want my money.
Yes, I dance, oh, just dance. Yes, I dance, oh,
it all, I got it all. I've gone the farthest. It's funny how I started off small, I ended the largest. Why we there? Why she there? No delay. When they there,
We be chilling in the club and performing. I'm a niggas fresh and we're balling. You better the sweet like honey, and I just want my money.
chilling in the club and fun. I'm a nigga fresh and we ballin'. Big bed in the street like honey, and I just want my money. Say and say, oh, yours and say, say and say, oh, yours and say, say and say, oh, yours and say, say and say, oh, yours and say. Personally, I rock your body. I promise you go home, you won't take daddy. I give it to you like you never had it. Screaming, judging, let's speak in Chinese. Now waiting minutes, back a boom boom. Now waiting I see. Saga, she know on me. She talks, she know on me. I know go lie, the things within my mind. When I see you dancing, girl, you got me high. And if you wanna try, make a good day tonight. Cause I'm in the mood. As long as you're feeling it cool, I deal with you. Personally, 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 I go deal with you. Personally, 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 I go deal with you. Personally, professionally, I see what you're doing intentionally. Get me want it physically, so give it to me radically. Emotionally, psychologically, you're turning me on biologically, sexually, dramatically. And she talks, she know it. I know go lie, the things within my mind. When I see you dancing, girl, you got me high. And if you wanna try, they can go there tonight. Cause I'm in the mood. Turn the music down.
It's okay. Oh yeah, shake body. Oh yeah, move body. Make you ring alarm. Oh yeah, shake body. Them girls just they feel me now. Cause I get some money, then they feel me now. Back then they do me anyhow. I don't get some money, they wanna get down. They want hold me for ransom. Cause I'm young and I'm rich and I'm handsome. They want know where I come from. I they run since from Lagos to London. All the blessings and love I they see just they make me they shout hallelujah. I say all the blessings and love I they see just they make me they shout hallelujah. They hold me for ransom. Cause I'm young and I'm rich and I'm handsome. They want hold me for ransom. Cause I'm young and I'm rich and I'm handsome. Oh yeah, shake body. Oh yeah, move body. Make you ring alarm. Oh yeah, shake body. Coupe décalé ma sagacité, équilibré, farotema, décalé, décalé, cricata, 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 pam pam. So munto, calopere, calopere, calopere. All the blessings and love I they see just they make me they shout hallelujah. I say all the blessings and love I they see just they make me they shout hallelujah. They hold me for ransom cause I'm young and I'm rich and I'm handsome. They won't hold me for ransom cause I'm young and I'm rich and I'm handsome. Oh yeah, shake body. Oh yeah, move body. Make you ring alarm. Oh yeah, shake body.
Ben Ami, Ben Ami, Ben Ami, Ben Ami, Ben Ami.
My name
My niggas are savage, ruthless. We got 30s and 100 rounds too. My bitch is bad and bullshit. Cooking up dope with a Uzi. My niggas are savage, ruthless. We got 30s and 100 rounds too. Hop in the fall, woo. I tell that bitch to come for me. I swear these niggas is under me. The hate and the devil keep jumping me. Back rows on me, keep me company. Hey, we did the most. Yeah, pull up and goes. Yeah, my diamonds a choker. Holding up, I with no holster. Read the ruler, diamond cooler. This a roller, not a mule. Dabbing on them like the usual. Magic with the brick do voodoo. Courtside with a bad bitch. Then I send the bitch through Uber. I'm young and rich and plus I'm bougie.
It's all about attitude.
Mask on, fucking mask on. Mask on, fucking mask on.
Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang. Spread their racks on new chain. My bitch love do cocaine. Ooh, I fuck a bitch, I forgot name. I can't bob in the wetter rain. Rather go and bob all mains. Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang. Spread their racks on new chain. My bitch love do cocaine. Ooh, I fuck a bitch, I forgot name. Yeah, I can't buy no bitch in the wetter rain. Ooh, rather go and bob all mains. Hey, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
Nigga with a sick ass mouth and a slick ass flow. Got your bitch around me, nigga, and I'm playing when I'm coming for the kitty. Got my full goddamn. Do it for my niggas in the coast right there. Do it for my niggas in the ghost right now. Niggas got killed for the boy, living dreams in the hills, and they watching for the boy right now. Goddamn, what a time, what a year. We are what them young boys feel. I kill, never be killed. That's real, no lie. You can tell it from my peers right now. Don't you wanna fuck me now? Don't you wanna love me down? Girl, you can't tie me down like Ray J said, but no, I'm down. Freaking nigga, show me something. Shake it like you owe me something. Pushing on the pussy like a button. Came for a time, fit time to bust. Still getting rowdy in the function. Bitches on my dick like it's nothing. Everywhere I go now, always got shit bumping, jumping.
Hey, nice to meet. I'm young, hey, who you be? Down east and southeast. Gotta clap into this beat. She invite me to her crib. I walk in, she say my heat. She said, but I live in the hills. Bitch, that's just the way I sleep. Stop that madness, I'm a savage. In traffic with Mac 11s. Bad bitch, and she Spanish. I fly her to call her blessings. We get nasty, I'm her daddy. She know a nigga ain't average. Ain't nothing wrong with fake asses. Bitch, turn around, let's make magic. I'm geeking, I'm on it. Don't look at me like you want it. Tell them that we ain't stunting it. Fourth down, we ain't punting it. King of District Columbia can't come here without a permit. This shit really a jungle. Gorillas and anacondas. She see money all around me. I look like I'm a man. But I was down and out like last week. Tell me where have you been? Came out of hiding, girl. Don't act like I'm your man. You just a fan. You don't want rain. Don't want no rain.
You are now listening to For All Nerds Show, a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. For All Nerds is hosted by DJ Ben Amin and Tatiana Keene Jones. For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.
Welcome to the Fan Bros, the show where the bros are fans. Doodle. And what's up, y'all? And welcome back to the For All Nerds Show. The voice of the urban geek, the podcast where we discuss geek culture from the perspective of people of color. Back in the co-captain's chair, it's your boy, DJ Ben Amin, a.k.a. keep that same inner John when you see me, Arsenio Holodeck, Reading Rambro, Meek Millhouse, Wakanda's favorite DJ, Kilometer Morales. Think about it. Laugh.
Kilometer.
Because I'm British.
Instead of miles.
And sitting in the co-captain's chair.
I hate you infinitely for that. Just FYI. Infinite hate. Yes, sitting in the co-chair, it is I, Tatiana King, a.k.a. the Grand Duchess of Tech, also known as the Ting of the North, Flex Luthor, Ned Slanders, Lambo Calrissian, and the Lord of Lightsabers. The Lord of Lightsabers. Actually, that's the cadence of it. Oh, and also this clown is here too, my dog.
Oh,
Yeah.
shout out to the pups.
All right.
But once again, like we said before, we're back. We know it's been a while. Thank you. We've been on vacation. We've been handling business. You know what I mean? We've been enjoying ourselves. We've been giving our thanks and blessings and everything. But we back. We here in the spaceship. How you doing tonight? It's good to see you.
I'm good. Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to get back into the chairs. You know, we got the command chair, and I'm number one. Apparently, I'm the Jonathan Frakes of the spaceship. So that's
there you
cool.
Go. Like that.
Missed you, missed the podcast, missed everybody listening to the podcast. Missed all the questions that we always get to talk about on the podcast. So I'm just happy to be here. Enjoyed my Thanksgiving with my family. Enjoyed some time off and lots of travel. What about you, Benjamin?
Same. I've been traveling a little bit, but I didn't get to. I was actually here in NYC for the holidays, but it was nice, very nice, relaxing holidays. Ate some good food, all that good stuff. And yeah, it's been nice. I mean, we had a bit of a break because we've been doing Views from the 616, the Blackest MCU podcast in the Multiverse. If you don't know about it, make sure you're following. Check out Views from 616 on Twitter, all that good stuff, But we had a break because we did Loki, and then there was a break, and then it was Hawkeye. So we're back with Hawkeye now. New episodes every Monday of Views from the 616. Talk about Hawkeye right now. But we have not been in the For All Nerds spaceship in a minute. We ain't just chilled and talked about all the things that are going on in the world of geek culture from the perspective of people of color.
I just want to jump right in because this is something we've been holding on for a while. Just because we haven't had a show. There's some interviews that are coming down the pipeline. We got a big one today, obviously. But this is one thing I did want to say. I want to shout out Antoine Piman, okay? This is a writer, director, creator who he recently won Best Feature at the American Film Awards, as well as Best Soundtrack at the Hip Hop Film Festival for his piece, The Musical Adventures of Afro Bonsai. I don't know if you've heard of this, man, or if you've seen this before, but last year, before it was released, I got to see the video of this. And what it is this incredible table read. And it's on, and I believe it's on YouTube now, but it's this incredible table read of the story of Afro Bonsai. I'm not going to give away what the story is about because it's actually incredibly well done. But I just wanted to mention some of the people that it stars, which is why I was just like, yo, this is so fucking cool. It includes Harry Lennox. People may know him from The Blacklist. You may know him. He was one of the generals in The Matrix, and he's been in freaking everything. Christopher Sabat, who you know from Dragon Ball, big time voice actor. Katera Colbert from Shameless. Anthony Enos. It's just this really fun table read. The story has elements of anime in there, RPG, things like that. But it's really, I just enjoyed it. And then also he won Best Thriller as well as Best Screenplay, again at the Hip Hop Film Festival and American Film Awards for his film Selfie, which is a short form horror thriller that the format is in the format of IG. So literally as the film's going on, it's like someone scrolling up and down their IG timeline and looking at the stories, the posts, things like that. And the whole film is set in this, and it's a short film, but the whole film is set in this, is shown in this format. And it was a really cool take, and inventive as well. So I wanted to give him his shouts and really make sure y'all check out his work. Again, The Musical Adventures of Afro Bonsai, as well as Selfie.
All right, and we're going to have the brother on the show. I know he's a long-term fam of the For All Nerds family. But we got a brother on the show tonight that a lot of y'all out there have been asking us to have. It's been a lot going on, a lot of things being said out there. So, right after this break, we're going to welcome Emanuel, the leader, the voice of the Recast T'Challa movement. And we're going to talk.
Hi, I'm Professor Brandon Obunu, a scientist who studies genetics and epidemics, and when I'm not doing long division, I'm listening to For All Nerds.
Hey yo, this is Danny Lore.
And this is Vida Ayala, and we are
Twin Speaks. And when we are not writing Ironheart or
James Bond.
we are listening to
For All Nerds.
Hi, my name's Genevieve King, and I play Jackie Veda on Netflix's Lock and Key. When I'm not cooking up new recipes in my kitchen, then I'm listening to For All Nerds.
Hey everybody, this is Peter Ramsey. I am the director of Rise of the Guardians and one of the directors of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I like to listen to For All Nerds with Tatiana and the great Benjamin.
Hey, this is Hiro Kanagawa, actor and playwright, and you are listening to For All Nerds all the way.
Hi, this is Lexi Alexander, and I'm a filmmaker and a writer. And when I'm not playing with my vintage toys and feeding myself and my dog, then I'm listening to For All Nerds.
Hey, what's up? This is Antoine, and when I'm not on television and movie sets, I am listening to For All Nerds.
And what's up, y'all, and welcome back once again. Like we said before, it's been a minute. But since we back, you know what I mean, we had to do it real big. And for some of y'all who follow me personally on Twitter, you know, you might have seen some things going on. You know, there was a bit of a brouhaha. You know,
God,
words and things were said.
Y'all got some goddamn nerve. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, not this man personally. No, this man that we're about to introduce.
Y'all.
Yeah, the rest of y'all. You know, we'll get it all into that. But first, let us introduce our big time guest right here. I was about to say illustrious, like we Deesa Samira over here. But we have a living legend in the house right now. The man Emanuel Noisette has been writing movie reviews since 2012. He lived in the Chi-Town his entire life. My man's a big family man, married to his wife, got 2 awesome daughters, and he's the author and creator of emansmoviereviews.com. As well as, we're going to have to get into this, but I would assume the creator and voice of the Recast T'Challa movement, or one of the main voices of the Recast T'Challa movement. There was a lot that I learned about this weekend. Welcome to the spaceship, brother. E-Man, how you doing tonight?
I'm all good. Thank you so much for the invite. It is such an honor to be here, for real.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You know, we had to get you here in the spaceship tonight because, you know, it was a lot going on. We're going to get into all that. But first of all, right, you're a fellow Blurred, a fellow journalist / critic / creative. So what inspired you personally to step out and, you know, into this world and like say, yo, I got something to say and y'all should hear it?
You know what? It's so funny you say that because like the inspiration came from not seeing or hearing that voice, you know, or at least not enough of them. You know, the whole way I got into just film criticism in general, I was posting on Facebook, just normal. Like, man, I just got done watching The Dark Knight. This movie's dope. You know, and then I would just keep on posting week after week after I'd see something, and then I kind of stopped, and people was like, wait, what are you doing? Like, where them reviews at? You know, so I was like, oh, I didn't know y'all cared. So I went ahead, kept going. People was like, hey, you should do a website. I made a website. Kept going and going. People was like, yo, you should make a fan page. I made a fan page. And then little by little, I was like, wait a minute, I really love video. So I wanted to translate my videos, my reviews into videos. And basically, you know, that's where the YouTube channel came from. But the whole thing is really just having a voice, because what I saw was a very wide landscape of only white males talking about movies. And I was like, y'all not communicating to me the way I would hope. And what's worse, you guys aren't even watching some of the movies that I want to watch, you know? So I had to get out there and be like Thanos and be like, yo, I'll do it myself.
I mean, that's one way of putting it right there.
Yeah, and that's really how a lot of Black and other people of color get their start. It's like you just doing things because you like to do it, and then you kind of build up that audience. So in doing that, like, what have you discovered when it comes to going from a private voice and now a public voice? Because as you said, people started looking for you and actually asking for your opinions on things and anticipating it, like expecting it at this point. So when you, and I don't know if you recognize whatever that threshold was, but once you crossed that threshold from private to semi-public person, what did you recognize right away? Or even from whether it's a challenge or something cool, whatever it was, what hit you the most?
So I'll go with the challenge first. And this is not something a lot of people talk about. Matter of fact, I was at WakandaCon, I want to say like in 2018 when it came out in Chicago. And I held a panel for being a Black social media influencer because you can go on YouTube, online, whatever, and ask like, what do I need to do to start my channel and do this? But no one really talks about the challenges if you're Black, you know? So for example, just a very easy thing, when you're on YouTube, you need to go in the filtered comments and put in the N-word so that you could just have a little self-care, you know, and not have to deal with that kind of negativity, because there are trolls out there, right? So it's like those little type of things that you kind of come across. Or, for example, when you get into this film criticism space as press and you're recognized as press, because you're starting out and you don't have the numbers, you don't have the following just yet, you might get regulated to only Black content. And that's it. That's the only time some of the PR companies will hit you up. That's the only, when they need a Black voice, you know, it's kind of like Kanye, you know, oh, now we love you. Now, let's put them in the front of the store.
Yep.
You know, yeah, you know, so I'm sitting here like, yo, I like Star Wars too. Like, I like all the horror stuff too. Like, can I talk about everything? So, that is one of those challenges where you kind of come into the space and realize that you have to almost prove yourself that you can talk to quote unquote the general audience and not just the quote unquote urban audience. But I would say the other thing that I realized was like, there is a sense of responsibility. Once you go from private to public, there are certain things. So for example, Green Book, you know, Mahershala Ali, that movie, it was interesting. It was interesting. But with that movie, I noticed a lot of my non-Black colleagues, they were praising it and loving it and all that. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And I'm like, hey, I understand why you get this and why you like it, but this is also racially safe. You know, it's not talking about the transgressions or the impact of the situations when Mahershala Ali's character goes through racial stuff. They're not showing that trauma. It's just like, oh, okay, we could laugh about it over a bucket of chicken and call it a day. You know, so it's like, if my voice is not there to say that, then this movie just gets passed over as like, oh, everything is all good. Racism is fine. As long as we share a glass of Kool-Aid together, it's all good. So that's kind of the responsibility I was talking about, where like I have to be there to bring in that Black voice when there isn't one.
Right. And you've brought in, as Ben Amin said, you've brought in a large Black voice because you've been able to amass a very solid following of people, viewership just across the board. And Emanuel, you actually said a perfect word, responsibility. Because I was going to actually say, with great power comes great responsibility.
It's a beautiful quote.
And it's beautiful for so many reasons, but particularly when it comes to what we're here to discuss today. There's a responsibility also to kind of, you can't control people, but kind of manage the conversation. And as I learned, you know, after the fact, but as I learned, there was a conversation that got out of control that affected my podcast partner. And, you know, the thing is, and again, it wasn't you directly. It was listeners or supporters or whatever, various shades thereof. So that's why, we want to bring you on and talk about what the movement is, the Recast T'Challa movement, and really understand what the hell happened.
Yeah.
And how did it get that far? And what can we do to, again, we can't control people, but let people know, hey, yo, this is not how I move. Like, unless that is how you move, and I would love to know why. So
Right. I feel you.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Like,
well, first,
Yeah.
you, like, you know, I would say that you are the head of the Recast T'Challa movement. What was the inspiration behind this? When did you be like, yo, nah, this is something that's got to go down? You know?
Right. So, okay. You know, as we all know, unfortunately, you know, the brother Chadwick Boseman passed late August of 2020. I mean, this hit me hard just because I had met Chadwick back in, I want to say 2016 or so. I had interviewed him on the red carpet for his movie Marshall. And I can tell y'all right now, that was the pinnacle of my career. I was like, yo, I'm done. I can retire. I met my favorite star. That's it. I'm good. But just in those 3 minutes, I'm just like, oh my, like, this dude is genuine. Like, he is the real deal. And you know, like, I've just looked up to him personally and professionally. And when I heard the news about his passing, like, I mean, it hit me hard. I don't cry over celebrities and, you know, nothing like that. But that, like, I broke down, you know, grown man over here just bawling in tears. And it wasn't until December later that year, I was watching the Disney investor meeting, and Kevin Feige came out and said that they are no longer going to recast the role of T'Challa. And I listen, I'm a Marvel fan. Like, I study Marvel way more than the average fan. Like, I read the nitty gritty interviews. I do the nerdy stuff, right? And when I heard him say that, and I'm looking at the captions, I'm looking at the language, because everything is scripted. I'm like, wait a minute. You're not going to recast the role of T'Challa. You didn't say, like, for now. You didn't say for Black Panther 2 coming up. You just done. Like, you just gonna stop. And it kind of hit me like, wait a minute. Y'all are either going to do one of two things. You're either going to retire his character like Paul Walker and the Fast and Furious franchise, you know, leave him in the background, but that doesn't make too much sense. Or you going to kill him off. And I'm like, yo, that don't sound right. I saw what the movie Black Panther did, you know, culturally. Whether people agree that it's a great movie or not is irrelevant. One thing you cannot argue is that it had a great cultural impact. I mean, for myself, it was a movie that I bought out an entire theater. I invited half my community, my church, the young kids to come out and see this movie. When they came out to see themselves on screens, basically, the little girls seeing themselves in Shuri, the young, you know, boys seeing T'Challa, they got T'Challa toys, you know, and stuff like that. It's something even to this day that still moves me to see that type of joy in little kids. That's what these heroes are there for, right? So hearing that the role of T'Challa was just going to end, I was just like really beside myself for it, with that news. But I still didn't start the petition or anything at that point. What I ended up doing was, for the next couple of months, I just did a deep dive into everything Chadwick. I was looking at all of his interviews for hours and hours and hours of stuff, whatever I could get my hands on. And I would just come across different interviews. I would hear things from Roland Martin, who said that he had text with Chadwick Boseman and how he viewed the roles. And it was like, after going through so many interviews and conversations, or at least listening to what other people close to him have said, I was just compelled to believe that, you know what, it does not make sense to kill off a character that it appeared as though Chadwick really believed in. You know, just learning the fact that he was dealing with cancer since 2016. Knowing how much he valued this character to the point that he was signed on for Black Panther 3. You know, it just didn't have any indication, knowing what he knew, that that role was going to be something that he wanted to end. So for me, I mean, I still waited. I still thought about it. It took a lot. But in April, That's when I started the Recast T'Challa movement. That's when I started the petition. And it basically had 3 basic tenets. It was like, look, not calling for nothing immediate. Not saying, yo, pull a war machine and just throw some guy in there and we gotta act like nothing happens. I'm not doing that. And this has nothing to do with the mantle. It's Recast T'Challa. It's not Recast Black Panther. I got no problem with anybody else taking the mantle, doing their thing. Matter of fact, I'm very okay with Shuri taking her, step up, and being highlighted and all that. I love that. And the last thing was just don't kill the character. You have a multiverse now. You have a plethora of options creatively that you can do with the character. I don't think that it's fair for us to take a real life tragedy and double down on that in this fictional story. We saw what it did to people in real life when Chadwick passed. I don't think we need to go through that again through the character. So that's why I came up with Recast T'Challa. Whether they want to put the character on the shelf, give it some time, don't really matter to me. I just don't want the character to end, because I think it's very important. I think the role is very important.
All right. That's a lot.
That's a lot. I'm sorry. That's a lot.
I didn't want to jump in because
Yeah,
I have questions, but go
I
ahead.
wanted to let you speak. And Tatiana, I'll let you go ahead first. And
Okay.
I know we both definitely have questions, so go ahead.
Okay. So me personally, I don't have a problem with this movement. I think if people want to make movements and petitions and all this stuff for something that they feel strongly in and can prepare it in a way that makes sense, have a blast. The questions that come up is, and you've also, and I will say this, you've addressed some of the questions that you preempted, right? And you have kind of an FAQ set up on, it's a post from back in April on themovieblog.com.
Yeah.
And it's the hashtag Recast T'Challa. And in this post, you explain what, as you just said, what the movement is about. You answer some of these questions. Is it too soon? Is it disrespectful? Et cetera, et cetera. One of the many questions that come up is, and you've kind of already answered that in your statements a few moments ago, but is this a movement of emotion or truly something of like logic? Because it almost feels like, because the personal vision of what Marvel should do doesn't match with your personal vision, then that's a problem. Is it truly a problem, or is it just because we, us, whatever, people are emotionally invested in Chadwick and what transpired with Chadwick's passing and what he meant to you? And I understand like what he meant. Like we personally, Ben I mean particularly, but we personally understand what Chadwick meant to us and everyone, and the impact that Black Panther made.
Yeah.
That being said, it feels very rooted in emotion. And that's okay. A lot of movements are. It's just, it's the system because you don't like the direction Marvel took, as opposed to there is real true logic behind this.
Sure. No, that's an excellent question. I would say it's a little bit of both. The emotion aspect is, let me talk about the emotion first.
Yeah.
Emotionally, obviously, yes, this was painful to see and to hear that after 50 years of waiting for this historic Black character to be killed off, the very first leading mainstream Black character in comics and in the MCU, just gone. That was painful because Black Panther was one of my favorite characters coming up, because that was the first time I could see myself in a fictional, hero. But so that's like the kid in me, right? That's the little nerd in me. Like, oh no, my hero is gone. Then, during the creation of this was in 2020. This is kind of close to the George Floyd situation and all the other racial situations that were happening.
From a timing perspective.
Yeah. Taking the time in perspective, for sure. Part of that was the notion of like, there was like this shift in society that was happening where at least it appeared as though we were getting to a point where we were becoming more, I would say, respectful of Black death. And for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, do we really have to kill another Black man fictionally? You know, like, this is actually something we have control over. You know, as fiction, you can do literally whatever you want. And we already tragically lost this brother in real life. Do we have to double down on that in the fiction? Now, that's the emotion side, right? Now, logically speaking, this is where a lot of my research into what Chadwick was saying and what other people were saying about him and all that, that's where some of this stuff started to click for me, where I was like, wait a minute. When we look at the leading roles in Marvel, we see what they do. Nobody was checking for Chris Hemsworth until he became Thor. Robert Downey was on the down end of his career until he became Iron Man. Chris Evans was cool, but let's just say he got a little boost as Captain America. Chris Pratt. I mean, literally every leading role.
Well, I still don't like Chris Pratt, so.
That's okay. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not mad at that. But
the people he wants to like him, dude. You know?
No, I just wanted to.
He's not worried about you, T.
Listen, ain't nobody say you got to have a drink with him, you know. But no one can deny the fact that having that exposure as a leading role in Marvel does wonders.
Absolutely.
So for me, I'm like, yo, the role of T'Challa is on par with the Captain America, Iron Man, or at least it was on its way to be there. And I'm like, that's another role and another opportunity for another Black actor to take that baton, make it their own, and still capitalize. And again, going into what I was looking into with Chadwick, it seemed consistent with how he believed in terms of passing those opportunities, because that's what happened with him. You know, Denzel Washington made the way for him to go to school, so on and so forth. He would go back to Howard University, which I believe, Ben, you're alma mater.
Both of us.
Okay, both of y'all. Okay, so, you know, Chadwick was always about giving back. So I'm like, yo, does it seem right that, like, knowing what Chadwick knew, would he really want that prime role, that opportunity to just go away? And the other logistics is the idea of Black representation, right? For me, the way the story is right now in Black Panther, T'Challa was the only lead. Everybody else was a supporting character. From Shuri to
Highly
M'Baku.
disagree there, but
That's fine.
okay, I'll
That's
let you
fine.
finish. And
no, I'm just saying. I mean,
I'm gonna let you finish.
We can have that conversation, but like
we will.
Shuri, M'Baku,
I'm gonna let you finish.
No, they were all supporting characters. Like, everything in the story revolved back to T'Challa in one way, shape, or form. So we can have that.
Yeah,
but
Ben,
while I don't have an issue with them being elevated or showcased even more, I do have an issue with taking one of those prime roles off the board in order to elevate them. Because the way the Black Panther franchise is always run is basically elevating everybody. Like, even if Shuri is taking her role forward, T'Challa's there. He's not just completely gone. As a matter of fact, he supports her. And I think that is the type of Black representation, logically speaking, that should be continued to be showcased in the franchise. It shouldn't be an either or situation. In my opinion, I think it should be consistent with elevating everybody. Show the Black women, show the different orientations, keep the positive Black male representation, show it all. I don't think we need to, trade or substitute, because this is not stuff that happens with white fictional characters. You don't kill off Superman just to highlight Supergirl. Like, you just elevate both of them.
Okay.
And they have their shine.
So, hold on, just real quick. Then let me
Okay.
get this out, and then I'll let you go. Because just relax for a second. Take your water. So I have to ask, because this is also when this keeps coming up on Twitter, for example. This is the main argument that happens, and I'm about to get into it. Is, based on what you're saying, is it truly the issue of T'Challa? And again, this is all potentialities. Marvel hasn't said they were going to do anything yet. That's number one. They
Not
didn't
a word.
say they were going to kill anybody. They didn't say anything. These are all assumptions, right? And I know you know that. That's fine. You were making inferences based on what you believe and your emotions of the wording that Feige and others may have used. Is this truly purely because is a fear that T'Challa will be erased, or is it just, for example, if they brought in another black male lead and named him T'Challa, I'm just saying the name.
Yeah.
He will still do the black male lead. He would potentially step into the mantle of Black Panther. And again, I'm keeping them the character and the mantle separate. Would you still have an issue? Is it specifically T'Challa, or is it what you perceive as a vacuum of a black male lead?
So it is specifically T'Challa. When I learned about the history of T'Challa, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, back in the 1960s during the civil rights era. So we already know how turbulent that was. Stan Lee looked around, saw like, oh man, there are actually black kids reading our stuff, but there's no heroes that look like them. So he created T'Challa literally to be the embodiment of representation. He wanted T'Challa to be on par. I mean, he had them fighting the Fantastic Four and defeating them, So the history. Yeah. So basically, he was like the Jackie Robinson, for these characters. That wasn't a sidekick, wasn't supporting, wasn't anything like that. So for me, T'Challa specifically has that heritage built in. And the concern, I would say, when you try to throw someone else in, let's say T'Challa, whoever you want to throw in there, right?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I feel like what ends up happening, and this is just me putting my movie critic hat on.
Yes.
When you do that and you make it more about the mantle than the character, you lose the actual appeal from an audience perspective. What ends up happening is you actually do make the black characters, whether they're male or female, expendable. So when, for example, we've never, ever gone to a 007 movie. There's never been a 007 movie made. We've gone to James Bond movies. Even though 007 is a mantle, as an audience, we care about the characters that define the mantles. It's not the other way around. When you make it just about the mantle, people care about it less. And I would, let's just say in the comic world, the Phoenix, how many people have gotten the Phoenix Force? Like, it's just been passed around to almost, I don't know, I've lost count to how many people. At this point, it's really not that big of a deal. It's losing its appeal because it could just go to anyone. But like when you actually have a character define it, whether they have the mantle or not, they keep that significance. Steve Rogers is still important, even if he's not Captain America. Bruce Wayne is still important, even if Robin is running around with his cape and cowl. So I think T'Challa, it's more about him and his historic significance rather than I'm just afraid, we're not going to have a strong black male.
E-Man, I love you, bro. But...
Yes, sir. I know. We got to talk.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay. I mean, it's a laundry list. All right.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. I'm sorry. It's like, I'm just not sure where to begin. Okay. The first one. Let's go to the one that comes up on Twitter. Like Tatiana said a lot. Oh, they don't do this to the white people. Paul Walker. Done. My hero who I grew up on, Carrie Fisher.
Princess Leia.
Broke my heart. You know what I mean? Like, done. Done. That was it. There was no more, right? And it wasn't like they're going to recast none of it. It was over. Changed the whole, the third Star Wars film in the sequels was supposed to be Princess Leia's film.
Yeah.
They erased that. All right?
Yeah.
Killmonger. Killed him, in the first film. Black male, dead. Probably had a pretty much better argument than T'Challa. Okay?
He did. No, he did.
But
I'm
wait,
with you
let
on
me finish, bro.
Yeah.
Third one, right? Thirdly, T'Challa being the main character. T'Challa's art, first of all, T'Challa's biggest art came in Civil War when he learned about revenge and etc. while the rest of the white boys ran around and did their thing. Then his second arc is in Black Panther when he learns from the women who have the most significant discussion in the film. It's not at all about T'Challa, their significant discussion. Their significant discussion is about Wakanda and how it should be run, not who is running it, because that doesn't matter in the end. And one of the biggest problems in Black Panther that I had personally was that it showed an African nation as a patriarchal society. The fact that in the spirit world, we only saw black men was a huge issue for me. Like, okay. So while I understand what you're saying, we James Bond, that's another one. Let me break that down. That it's been like 50 million different actors. None of these Negroes are playing the same James Bond to anyone who's been watching it. Like when you're watching Daniel Craig, you're not thinking of GoldenEye. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is not the same dude. You know, that's not so that doesn't work there. As someone who personally knew Chadwick, right? Like I went to school with him, you know, at Howard, etc. Like it would break my heart to see someone else play T'Challa. Because like that's not T'Challa. And it's like one, how the MCU is set up. They haven't done that. Like you said, besides Terrence Howard. You know,
and that wasn't a death. That was Terrence Howard was doing his Lucius Lyon in real life, and they were like, "Oh nah, we not."
He wanted that money.
We're not playing that game with you, fam.
Which
so that's
at
what
the
happened.
time was understandable, but you gotta chill and play your part. You know, 48 laws of power, fam. You don't bite until you can bite. You know, and so okay, back to the thing. They retired two of their biggest, whitest heroes. Captain America's off the table. Tony Stark is off the table. You know, they move on. Like that's like we mentioned early on, as a creative, something that bothered me was people came at me like, yo, you gotta have E-Man on the show. Your listeners need to know about this. I'm like, nobody tells us how to run our show. We're gonna have this brother on the show because I, fucked with your perspective when I read your FAQ. I was like, okay, this dude is not all these other people who are talking under him. You know, this dude has sense. He's not going off the deep end. He has points that he wants to talk about, and I'd like to distrust him. But as a creative, when someone says, no, this is how you have to do it, that's a problem. You know, like, I hate that idea, dog. Like, what if down the line, Marvel wanted to retire T'Challa in some way, shape, or form? What if they wanted to kill him off in the third Black Panther? What if they wanted to kill him in the second one, but they signed people for umpteen movies because that's how they do? Is it going to be resurrect T'Challa? Like, I get it, but it's like
I think also to summarize what you're saying, Ben, I mean saying when does it end? Like when does it? Because there's always going to be another point where you're like, as you said, there's two things as I mentioned is going on. There's so much variables that we don't know, and then one of them comes true. When does it end? Like he said, that's why he said recast. He said recast T'Challa, like resurrect T'Challa. So right.
And then like another thing is like, and I've seen you talk about this a lot on Twitter, brother. It's like the whole, people like one tweet you had that really hurt me, man, was when you were like, yo, look at this gold from the comics. People are only going to accept silver. And then, like, as someone who's read the comics forever, like we probably around the same age, same eras, like, dog, there was no good Black Panther comics when I was coming up. Let's keep it 400. My man was in Marvel Comics Presents in the back in 8-page stories, and them shits was terrible. They was
wait. Which one are you talking about? Because I'm talking about
that joint when he was in South Africa struggling, falling over in the tarps and shit. Come on,
you
man.
talking about with the white writers had him?
No.
When the white writers?
Yeah, when he
he's saying back in the day.
Some crackers.
He's saying back in the day.
Okay.
He's saying back in the day.
I'm not talking about Christopher Priest. I'm not talking about the runs, dog. That's what I'm saying. Like, and like a lot of people who follow, what I never understand is when people come at me thinking like, I don't know, Google me, motherfuckers, because like this ain't no shit that I'm just new to. I know all that. So it's like, yes, but to act like, and like you said, to make the Jackie Robinson comparison, Jackie Robinson ain't playing no more, fam. Like he might have been the first, but Milestone is out there. There are so many. And one, Marvel is a white-owned corporation. So the more attention that we're giving to them, instead of being like, yo, we can move on from Black Panther. There's other people out here. That's another thing. It's a lot to it. And while I get it and I feel it, bro, that's the other part I have to go back to. That idea of like Black male, needing to be, there's been a lot, like, we ain't had the Black woman, as the centerpiece. We haven't had that. We haven't even had them on an equal level. Okay. In a mythical world, when we had that chance to show a 50-50 world, of rulership, we didn't even get that yet. And that bugged me out because that's a problem in the real world.
I agree.
Like men and their like running everything is a problem. And not to see a matriarchal society in Africa, or at least
So, okay. No, listen. Listen.
Yeah, let Emanuel respond.
I feel you.
Yes.
I feel you on all of it. See, okay, so let me just say, when I started the Recast T'Challa petition, this was not going to be a Snyder cut one.
Yeah, because
right?
it hurt.
Like this
that.
was not going to be a bully campaign where we're going to be like, Marvel's going to do what we want. No.
Niggas was bullying
I
me,
understand. I'm sorry for that. I shouldn't even apologize because I don't control people.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And
I
I'm
feel
not
for
worried
you.
because they're clowns, but it's like,
I feel for you. But let me just say that what the biggest intention I had was to start this conversation because it's so multi-layered.
Yep.
So the mere fact that we're having this dialogue now, that's a win for me.
Yep.
I'm whether people agree with me or not, it's totally fine, and I respect that. But I wanted this conversation to be had again because of the impact that the movie had. Now I'm gonna give one little quick chip
go
to your
ahead.
previous
Come on,
comment,
let's go.
and I know we're gonna go back to it. You had mentioned the strong female presence.
Yep.
100% agree with that, no doubt. I would still argue though that T'Challa is the centerpiece because whether it's Killmonger, Nakia, even I forget Daniel Kaluuya's character,
W'Kabi.
W'Kabi. Thank you so much. Everybody was giving their opinion about Wakanda to the king.
No,
and
Nakia and Okoye have
on.
a conversation by themselves that does not
They
involve
do.
men at all, and it's the most
They do.
important conversation in the film.
Absolutely,
And that's why it's so dope because it doesn't
Right.
involve men at all. And Kugler said that, and he made that point.
It is beautiful. Trust me. I don't want to take anything away from that.
Yes.
But Kugler also, because he's quoted at this, he's also saying that Black Panther was T'Challa's story. So he is, whether you just want to make it technical,
yeah, but-
if you want to make it technical, the bill
It
knows.
was his story of learning from the
It's his
women.
story. Sure. There's no, I have no qualms about that,
there we
right?
go.
So, and this is why I say I don't want to take nothing away from them, but it doesn't mean that it's still not his story, because whether he learns from his mom, from his sister, from his, the Dora Milaje, whoever, he still makes the decision at the end of the day. But again, that's a whole nother
That's an
situation.
issue.
Now, right now, that's something that we could definitely have a conversation about, right? And I don't have a problem with, again, uplifting women, putting them at the forefront. I had no issue with that. Just to your Bond point, I know that there's never going to be a direct apples to apples comparison with what's going on because the MCU is so unprecedented. We've never had anything like this. So I totally acknowledge that this is more like apples and oranges.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, like, yo, this is fruit. It's fruit. Okay. I know it's not the same fruit.
Well,
but I get it, right?
I'm really glad you said that. Just to jump in real quick, I'm glad you said that because that was going to be a point I was going to make to you that when and especially in your explanation on your blog posts that's going to be the thing that's going to take you out the game a little bit because, like you said, yes, it's difficult, but you got to find something, right? Because these are apples to oranges comparisons. For example, you said, and I watched the video too. And again, you've done a great job of communicating your point. It's just that we have to be careful about the examples being used. Like, for example, in the video you say, this is, and you said it again on this show, this is not about the mantle, right? But then in the section about is it disrespectful to recast another character, we start mentioning Superman, Batman, Bond, etc. Those are mantles, and it kind of dilutes the argument a bit. So I'm again, this is give you some props on that you understand that, but also to recognize that you can't interchange that because those are easily refutable.
Well, yes and no. I mean, Superman, Batman. I mean, that was kind of like a separate point that I was trying to make in terms of like the mere fact that they were able to build up their legacies, right? Because they've been recast, because they've constantly been fed into the pop culture and everything.
Okay.
They don't get, they get the addition and multiplication, but they don't get the subtraction. If you want to highlight a Batgirl, Supergirl or whatever, some side character, they don't get rid of that.
Right.
And all I'm saying is like, yo, can we keep the same energy with T'Challa?
But
if we want to highlight more women, do that. Let him step back. but you don't have to take them off the table.
But the only reason they
Go
don't
ahead.
do that, brother, is because of capitalism. It's not because like they, it's not.
But how did you get there?
No,
how did you get there?
Let me finish. They got
Yeah.
there because at that point we could only create white characters. When Batman was created, this is a point I always try to make people like, and this is like a part of your point, but it goes back to the mantle idea, right? We look at translations to film. The ones who have been successful that were not created, in the original golden age are Cable, Deadpool. Pretty much it. It's a very short effing list, of people who have made that big leap where everyone knows their name, So it's like, one, you have to keep those characters. But yes, T'Challa is T'Challa. What happens to him, we don't know yet, but Black Panther goes on.
And
and it's not about being a woman. It's not about being a dude. It's not about Shuri, because I don't personally think it should be Shuri. I think Shuri should get that dope ass shit she got from the comics when she went to the spirit world and did all that. That's what I'm
When
talking
she was a goddess?
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's what I need.
Yes.
And so that's what I mean. I don't need it to be Black Panther. I need it to be Wakanda. That's what always mattered to me. That's why, like, when dudes coming in, why don't you make, whatever, I'm Wakanda's favorite DJ first, because it's like, it's the idea of Wakanda that has always blown my mind. The idea of a black country in Africa that was not colonized. It's not the
Never
idea
enslaved.
of Black Panther.
And we're gonna get
never
that.
been that.
And we're gonna get that Wakanda series in Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's never been that for me personally.
And that's why I don't want to have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying, I fully support.
But like,
for me, I'm like, I don't want to have to give up one thing to elevate the other. I don't feel like we should have to compromise. I don't feel like we can't, like, why can't we have the Disney Plus Wakanda series and T'Challa and other black superheroes and the elevation of black women and the representation for different orientations? Why can't we have all of it? I'm just saying, if we started, because you're right about the capitalism and the domination, I'm with you on that. That's even more reason why I'm like, yo, this is why we need to keep and preserve what we actually are getting and build on it rather than taking things away. And now to your other point about the other, the Iron Mans, the Captain Americas, they got rid of them. You're right. But the counter to that is the fact that their stories were told. We have absolutely no idea how this T'Challa in the MCU is going to be as a king. We don't know how he's going to deal with opening Wakanda and the other tribes in the country. We have no idea. We don't know how he's going to deal when people start stealing their stuff.
He missed 5 years. That's the other problem.
But also,
we did. We did.
No, he did. He did.
No,
Wakanda moved on.
Yeah, we may
but
never
I'm saying,
know.
There's still time, because where we left off in Endgame, T'Challa is fine.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with him.
Yes.
Correct.
So I'm just saying, his story, literally after learning about the vengeance and revenge in Civil War, after having his eyes opened by the sisters in Black Panther, we don't know his next move. We don't know anything about him. So that's why I'm saying you're going to get that counterpoint of, you can't compare him to Iron Man and Captain America, because they got their stories told.
Right.
If T'Challa had his full story told, let's say up until Black Panther 3, and then they kill him off, all right, at least we got the representation. At least the story was told.
Right.
At least everybody else was highlighted. I think that you would have, that would be your end point, because you were asking.
I just want to return back to your logic track, Emanuel.
Yes.
When we were talking about the mantle versus T'Challa, because I still think and again, I'm only listening to what you're saying. I'm not entering words you didn't say. It still is giving me conflation. It's still giving me the mantle versus T'Challa. T'Challa is the mantle. Chadwick is the mantle. Like, that's what this conversation is giving me, because and I'm just using your words when you explained how, Superman, Batman, umpteen actors that's told the story over and over and over and over again, right? Those are still just mantles, right? And again, let me not just say just, because I want to make something clear, because people try to come at me for that. I'm not diminishing the mantle. The mantle matters, particularly when we're talking about Black Panther. So there's no diminishment there. Was this conversation about the mantle of Black Panther or missing Chadwick? And then that's okay to miss Chadwick.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah,
sense.
100%.
And I think that's what we really have. And that's why this keeps becoming such a quagmire of conversation, because I don't think everyone understands the lowest common denominator of this. Is it about you fucking miss Chadwick and you wish he didn't pass? I get that.
Yeah.
Or is it truly about, oh, I don't want T'Challa to die? Like, T'Challa is not Chadwick. And maybe,
Okay.
on the reverse end, you could say he is, right? Because people, when you look at people like RDJ, he's intrinsically linked with Iron Man, Tony Stark, right? Generally speaking, unless you talk about 10 years from now when a new generation come up, generally speaking, people won't separate the two. Same with Chris
It's gonna
Evans.
take longer than that.
People are not going
Right,
to
right,
separate,
right.
maybe even longer. People are not going to separate the two. Understand. And maybe that is also the case when it comes to T'Challa Chadwick. But then that's when all the emotion starts rushing in and starts clouding the judgment. And my thing is, like, as I said, you've said so many different actors played Superman, Batman. So why can't different actors, if you can tell the story, if this is truly about a mantle, again, let more actors jump into that mantle. As you said, you have no problem with that.
But here's the thing. When those different actors, they did not jump into a mantle. They jumped into the character. The character just so happened to have the mantle. Every single actor that has played Superman played Clark Kent. Every single actor that played Batman played Bruce Wayne.
Hold on.
They didn't come in. Go ahead.
No, let him finish. Let him finish.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, like, whenever those recastings happen in those different story formats, they still played that same character, and the character just so happened to have the mantle. So, no, it's not about the mantle. And I've tried to, make that point as clear as possible. Because, like I said, other people have had the mantle in the comics of Black Panther. It's passed hands many times, but T'Challa's always remained. And I think that is why I wanted to make sure the focus is on the character of T'Challa. Yes, there is an element of Chadwick and honoring him. Because I personally believe that it's more consistent with what he's expressed publicly about acting and the roles, and it seems antithetical to kill off something where his family estate, they posted right on his Twitter when he passed that it was the honor of his career to bring T'Challa to life. They didn't say Black Panther, King T'Challa. And I'm like, well, okay, if that's his thing, if that's how he viewed it, what sense would it make to kill off that character? Then there were other interviews from the writers and directors from What If who worked with him in his final project, and they were saying how excited he was to give us more T'Challa, not Black Panther, more T'Challa, and that's where we get Star-Lord T'Challa. According to them, they said that he wanted the world to see a Black man in T'Challa without the mantle stand side by side and saving the galaxy with, Iron Man and Captain America and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, yo, if Chadwick viewed T'Challa so importantly, and we sitting here talking about honoring Chadwick, and this character is significant in Marvel, whether it's comics or in the MCU, we should keep that character going in some way. Now, I want to also kind of point out to what you guys were talking about, like, especially Ben, you were talking about, like, yo, when you're looking at James Bond, you're not looking at Roger Moore, you're not looking at Sean Connery when Daniel Craig is on the screen. Yeah. Totally get that. And this is where I would say the creative side does lend itself way more opportunities than I think people are realizing. When it comes to the multiverse, there's literally anything possible to do whatever you need to do. You can, I don't want to spoil the end of the movie, but after a certain Marvel movie,
Which Marvel
we have
movie?
Venom 2.
I was gonna say it's kind of late. Nah, it's kind of late in the game.
Is it late?
You can say
Are
what
we
you
good?
say.
We good.
Okay.
Say what you
Because
need to say.
I don't like ruining
Everybody
things.
know that. The
It's late in
multiverse
the
is going
game.
on.
You could
The
tell them.
multiverse
Okay.
is here.
All right,
What
cool.
if is here?
So-
We've seen it. We know.
As we know from the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, Doctor Strange is messing with the multiverse, and all of a sudden, at the post-credit scene of Venom 2, we saw all reality just changed. Just like that.
Yep.
Blink of an eye. What's the excuse? Magic. That's it. It's not complicated at all. You can use whatever excuse you want. You even had in What If, Ultron sitting here punching through realities, messing stuff up. You got Loki messing with timelines, coming into a whole different history. you have a plethora of options to basically creatively come up with different ways. Matter of fact, I could come up with some different ways if you want to on how to get a different actor in that role and still preserve whatever you want with Chadwick's version of the character. And this is what I'm saying. We don't need to treat this as if this is the only way to portray the king, you know, to portray the character and to tell the story. They have options. And all I'm saying is, can we explore those options before resulting into doubling down on his death? Because unfortunately, some people can't separate T'Challa and Chadwick and the mantle. And I'm saying, I think we should.
All right. We don't know what they're going to do. We have to double down on that. We have to like triple down on that. Come on,
so
truthful.
let me pause.
know.
Let me pause. Because I know I would not say that.
Oh, why would you not say that?
Because, you know, insiders are a thing. Information leaks.
Yeah.
I'm not in the business of spoiling things. Like, I've literally built my whole channel and not spoiling things. But I have made a lot of connections, and
you're hearing otherwise.
I'm hearing extremely otherwise.
Okay.
And
all right.
I don't run with rumors. Like, if you look at my channel, if I ever talk about a rumor, matter of fact, I disregard a lot.
Yep.
If I talk about a rumor, it's because I verified it and it at least has legs. At least. It could still change, but it has legs. So
okay,
I would not say that we don't know anything.
Fine.
That's all.
Fine. Let me go down the list again. All right.
Okay.
If they kill Black Panther, it hurts. They killed Killmonger. It hurt. You know, just because they're a black character does not mean that they cannot undergo trauma, especially when told well. And this is Ryan Coogler. Like, a lot of people have been like, oh my God, Nate Moore's a liar. Nate Moore said this and that. What they did was ask Ryan Coogler, the writer-director of it, what do you want to do? He said, let's not do it. Okay, boom.
Right.
So that is his creative process. He had that vision and said, this is what we're going to roll with. So I'm going to roll with Ryan for the moment because I haven't seen one frame of this film yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, did you see the Nate Moore interview?
Yeah,
like, did you?
Yeah, but honestly, I'm like, it's not really where I'm not that type of like, because I understand what it is on the other side. This is something I always tell people. I've worked, like I'm WGA, like I know what it is, so it's like, I don't really, I like to let things be created and then I like to see them because until then, it's like, I know how difficult and what a miracle. This is what I always say. It's a miracle when things come to screen. I don't care what it is. So when a Black Panther came to screen, it was a multi-miracle, right? So, okay, back to it. Back to the idea of the Batman, because people always come at me with that one. Oh, well, you was the man with either. Yes, I was. I hate Joker. I never want to see another one. You know what I mean? I thought that movie was ass, bro. We can go into that another one. I saw your video on that. I think that movie is one of the most destructive movies done. And not only that, it's basic as fuck because all it does is ape great directors that came before it, right? And with a whatever actor who I love but did not do that much. And what the message of the movie is its biggest problem ever. It is horrific, as we have another school shooting today. But let's not, you know what I mean? So back to that point. I don't ever want to see another Joker. I don't want to see this Batman movie next year. I'm good.
Really?
No, I'm good. Why? Why do I want to see a rich white man beating up poor people? Why do I want to see that? I can see that on my local news every day.
Emanuel say, "Oh,
yeah." You know what I mean? I'm keeping man. If you don't know yet, man, this is how I get down. I don't give a fuck.
I respect it.
You know what I mean? Like,
so
I don't want to see that. And the trailer disturbed me. He walks up on some people, and starts beating the life out of them. And people were cheering.
Batman is nuts.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
And I want people
to know that.
And
like, he's not a hero. He's nuts.
Legitimately out of his mind.
People idolize him the same way they idolize that Joker. That's the problem. Because people aren't that smart. And the way things are fed to you, it wants you to idolize these things.
Damn, you just lost the audience by saying people aren't that smart.
It happens. I lost a lot of audience this week. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. But it's not people's fault. People aren't educated. And people aren't educated on the way film works and the way media is fed to you. So when someone is presented to you as a hero, a protagonist, just because they're the protagonist, as I pointed out on the show, does not mean they're the hero. Joker is the protagonist of this film, but he's not
Yep.
a hero. But people can't make that distinction. So when they
Right.
watch someone do protagonist acts, they take them as a hero.
Yep.
And that's a problem. And that's why I hated
agree.
the Joker movie. All right.
I agree.
Now, back to
No
the
argument there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, as far as Batman, the mantle and stuff, Dick Grayson, was Batman. For people who read
Yep.
the comics during that time only, that was their Batman. It might have been their favorite ever. For certain characters, I don't give a damn about Jon Stewart, honestly. My Green Lantern was Guy Gardner, because that's who I grew up on. You know, and then Kyle Rayner, because I love him and I love his attitude.
Sure.
It wasn't about John. John was always weird. He's a military. Fuck this dude.
Yeah.
Sorry. No shots to the military people. There goes some audience. But, so that's what I'm saying. It's like the mantle and that idea of like people can't adapt or people can't, and we haven't seen a Dick Grayson Batman on screen yet just because we haven't. But that's a problem.
But you notice what you just said though.
What?
Everything you just said proved what I was talking about. You didn't talk about the mantle. You talked about the characters that made the
that's what I'm
mantles.
saying. Because that's my point. Dick Grayson was my favorite Batman. Someone else to be someone's favorite Black Panther. It doesn't have to be T'Challa.
That's fine. T'Challa doesn't have to die for some other Black Panther
T'Challa
to
just
exist.
sit in the background and never say another word on screen. If
Fine.
that's all we're saying,
that's all I'm saying. I'm saying don't kill the character.
If that's
what if he
what
would be
Don't kill the character.
recast it, fam? He'd just be sitting in the
Well,
background.
then I have a question about that, Emanuel.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you, and just clarify, please, just
Yes,
based off what you
yes.
just said. Are you saying, they never kill off T'Challa, but you never hear from him again? Or there's just or there's just references made to him like, oh yeah, T'Challa's in the back eating swama. Like,
I mean, if we have to play levels, killing T'Challa is terrible. That's the worst.
okay.
Putting T'Challa in the background sucks. It's obviously better than killing him off, but if you got to give him the Fast and Furious treatment rather than killing him, I guess in an ideal sense, okay, so this is kind of my perspective with it. In an ideal sense, you don't have to take anything away from T'Challa. If you want to pass the mantle around, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to give it to somebody else, somebody takes it from him, that's fine. That's consistent with the comics. He does not have to leave. Matter of fact, and I'm sure, Ben, you could back me up on this, to your earlier point where you were saying, man, I wish we had a more matriarchal, Wakanda and so on and so forth. We know that the comics got to the point where we had two Black Panthers with Shuri and T'Challa. So I'm sitting here like, that's the point I want to get to. I want to get to the point where we have a strong Black man and a strong Black woman, and they both supporting one another. Because in my opinion, I don't think there's no stronger sense of representation than having co-equals, powerful at that, represented on both sides.
Bro, we might have to get there with Blue Marvel and Shuri. It's like, it's a tragedy.
They're not gonna give Blue Marvel that energy.
We
not.
don't know this shit. And what we decide is what they gonna put. Because money talk, dog. That's one
Money
thing.
does talk.
And one, like, shout out to my brother Rodimus Prime. Like he always say, the only forms of capitalism we support is Black capitalism and Disney capitalism, because they don't leave no money on the fucking table. So when you say they ain't gonna do a Blue Marvel movie, I'm like, they ain't gonna make a smart Black man movie? Why not? If there are smart Black men out there, that's money to be made, and they don't miss money. And that was another point that really disturbed me, was when a lot of people started making it like where it's this conspiracy where like, oh, they don't want to see a strong Black man. Like even I think it was Chadwick's brother, who I'd never heard from before, said like they didn't want to see the king. Whoa. Like, fam.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. Listen, I don't traffic in intentions, and I don't traffic in conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Like, if that's how his brother believed, he's entitled to his opinion. You won't see that from me. And I tried to make that clear in my petition as well. I'm never going to say Disney wants to do that. Yeah. I'm not, because for me, I'm sitting here thinking like you were talking about the writing process and stuff. I'm not WGA. Like I'm not in that, but I've gotten a sense where I'm like, you know what? I get it. You guys are doing what you think and believe is the best move. And it's one of those things where, like, even starting the petition, I was like, yo, there really isn't a right or wrong answer per se, because it's almost like arguing when a loved one passed and the family has to decide, how do we celebrate them?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
you might want to do the repass and have it be like all in white, and I might want to have it all in black. Is
Or
there
you
really
may
a
not
right
want anything at all.
or nothing at all, right? So, this is why I don't want to ever criticize Marvel's intentions, because I don't know them unless they say something publicly. So I will always just say like, yo, my position is really just based on what I think and hope and believe is consistent with Chadwick, which I think would honor him, which would elevate the MCU and help black representation one way or another. That's kind of the angle I've been going with. And all the other stuff, I'm like, okay, y'all can have y'all opinions, but I'm not going to go into that because I feel like that's a rabbit hole and it gets,
it gets
the
ugly.
one thing I really don't want to do, what is it? How's the saying go? You attract more bees with honey or flies with honey or whatever.
Flies with honey. Yeah.
Flies with honey.
Flies with honey, yeah.
I've seen what's happened ever since 2016 on. I don't need to traffic in hate. I don't need to evoke anger. I might be passionate, but I'm not going to come out and talk negatively or spit hatred or bigotry, because it might attract some people, but it turns off more.
Right.
So that's not consistent with me. I want this to be a movement of love, and it's in respect as much as I think and hope it is. And I don't want anyone to think opposite of that.
Well, then that might be an answer to this next question. Like, how do you feel about people who want to boycott Black Panther or Marvel in general?
Yeah, I mean, what did MLK say? Riots are the voices of the people that are unheard, or the unheard. I'm sorry if I butchered
I know,
but
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's like, I'm not going to tell people not to boycott. If you want to withhold your money from Disney or whatever, you have every right to do that. I have not been out there on my channel or whatever things I've created. I have not been pro boycott, mainly because I believe boycotts should be kind of like your big joker. That's your big joker card, right? Like, you save that to the very end. That's something where if you get to an extreme situation, after a lot of buildup, after a lot of momentum, after everything else has been exercised, then you can do that. But the other thing with boycotts is they're not effective if you don't have the numbers. And because this situation is so complex, as we're going through this right now, even if black folks, okay, if we all can't get on the same page with this, we know that there's a huge market of non-black folks that are also going to contribute to this. If they not with it and we can't even agree, how's a boycott going to be effective? It's just not.
It's not.
So for me, I'm like, you know what? If you want to boycott, that's fine. I don't think it's effective now because you don't have enough people. You don't have the Snyder Cut movement level of people to actually make a dent to make them care. And on top of that, the other side of that, so logistically, I don't think that works. But the other side of that is, this is a movie that's, got a predominantly black cast in front and behind the camera.
Yeah.
This is a movie that potentially will be putting black women at the forefront. I have 3 daughters, black daughters. I need them to see this movie. I want them to see this stuff. I don't want to be in that conflicting position to hurt black folks just to get our way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like Issa Rae. I'm rooting for everybody black, and that's why even when it comes to the black representation, I'm like, yo, I don't want to have to choose. I don't want to have to pick, let's talk about Wakanda and get rid of the king, or let's elevate the king and forget the black women. I don't want to do none of that. I want to talk about the king. I want to talk about the black women. I want to talk about Wakanda. I want all of it, because that's what the comics gave us when the black writers came, Ben, when the black writers came. I want to make sure I was clear on that.
Bro, it hurt me because as a kid, I love Black Panther, but there was nothing.
Nothing.
It was a
desert.
I'm
with you, bro. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
It was like the ones from before us.
Yes.
And then there was nothing.
Yeah. It was literally like a straight transformation, a paradigm shift once black writers got involved.
Once Priest got on, that shit popped.
Yes. But that's what I want them not to lose or compromise on. So when I was talking about the gold, trading gold for silver, that's what I was talking about. I was like, yo, I want y'all to realize the opportunity and the potential here, that we don't have to give away and compromise this. Despite the real tragedy that happened, we can still have and maintain what the first Black Panther built and have more.
Yeah.
I want more. I want listen, I want the Blue Marvel, movie.
Yes.
I want Monica Rambeau. I want all
Done right.
of it. But if you tell me I gotta trade one for the other, that's like telling me I gotta trade one of my children.
Yeah,
No,
and-
I don't want to do that.
And while I fully understand, and we got, we'll be here all day and night. But
I know.
What I do want to say is that, like, while I do get that, and it's the part of it just happens with this tragedy. That's something that I think, and that's what makes it emotional for all of us, because we all have different views. Like, Tatiana went to school after, I was there while he was there. That's my people's, like, me and Chadwick were super tight, but like every time I saw him, it was like, oh, and then like,
right.
Like my best friends are his best friends. That's how close it is. It's like that. So,
well, can I ask you a question? Because this is something I've struggled with from an outside perspective. And I'm not out here. Look, I told you, I only met Chadwick for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to have a competition.
But what you said about him,
listen,
is
in my head
true.
we were.
Yeah.
In my head we were.
Yeah.
But my question for you is this: especially as someone who knew him and was closer to him, obviously, than the vast majority of us were. Does it make sense, or are you comfortable? Because this kind of disturbs me. Are you comfortable with them kind of having this period where we've grieved for this man in real life, and then all of a sudden we have to relive it again in the movie?
But again, I think that's an assumption, but you didn't ask me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got
Okay, fine. If you want to go there, let's just say hypothetically. Let's go hypothetically.
Okay.
They go through the grieving. They have a burial.
I got a couple answers.
Oh my gosh.
I got a couple answers for that.
Yeah.
Every time, every time Chadwick spoke, I had to go through it. I rewatched Infinity War the other day, and I straight up, once Bucky vanished, I cut it off.
Yeah.
I was like, nope. And
I'm not gonna watch that shit.
I went right into Endgame so I could see my man's come back. You know what I mean? Like, I turned it off right then.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, if someone else is on screen being like, hey, I'm T'Challa now,
It'll be weird. Like
every time,
even with the multiverse,
every time they spoke, because it's not my man.
Even from the multiverse.
That's what I'm saying. It's not my man's. You know what I mean?
It's
not my people.
But I gotta say, the problem with the argument about the multiverse, yes, it's twofold. Yes, with the multiverse, shit, anybody, I could fucking be T'Challa, right? I could be the female T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? However, you've made it a very pointed argument, if you will, that it's necessary to not get rid of Chadwick's T'Challa.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways. And that's my only thing. We can't have it both ways. Are we going to allow the multiverse to multiverse? Or are we going to say, no, this person or this character, this person as this character is static? That's the only thing I'm saying.
Or
so
are we going to say,
let me address that issue right there.
Yeah.
So when I wrote my piece on therap.com, one thing that I had mentioned was that, again, it's levels, right?
Yeah.
In an ideal situation, first of all, straight up ideal, Chadwick would be here with us fully healthy, fully ideal, right? Perfect world. In an ideal situation, I would sit here and think like, you know what? Don't kill the character. Let's keep it going. Put him on the side, take whatever time you need, et cetera, right? Make it work some way, somehow. The compromise would be, okay, yes, if we had to get another version from another reality, which we've already been indoctrinated with the Loki series and variants and stuff, okay, you can kind of make that work. It sucks that it's not Chadwick's version, obviously, but this is where I'm like, you know what? We got so much stuff going on with the universe, with the multiverse. You can explain it away. You could literally do something like, you know what? The beginning of Black Panther 2 opens up. We get like a little monologue or something like that the MCU 616 or 1999 version of T'Challa married Nakia, had some kids, everything was cool until Kang came through, changed the timeline. So what happens? You lock that T'Challa with a nice fitting ending or whatever in that history, but now we just start over because the villain messed up the timeline. I'm just saying you have ways of making this work because it's fiction and we believe magic and aliens and robots are running around.
But to go
we
back,
can make this work.
To go back to your question, like when you ask, like, as you said, for someone who doesn't like to me, that's still just like, it would break my soul every time whoever spoke, because I'm like, you're not T'Challa to me, you know. And that's like, that's one thing, like we said, the uniqueness of the Marvel universe, and also because it's personal to me, and so that might be my emotion coming into it. But it's like the uniqueness of the Marvel universe and what he accomplished and what Wakanda means as a bigger whole, and like what the MCU has done as a bigger thing, and allowing for characters to move on, and us to like Thor to be like, yo, Valkyrie, you're now, you know, King of Asgard, you know, like, and for her to have a bigger role than she ever had in the comics, and for it to be a black woman, a bisexual black woman now, as in things that we never saw in the comics. And that's what, like, my other thing about the whole comics thing, dog. I'm one of them dudes who's read them all and don't give a shit. You know, I don't care, because it's like all I care about is a dope story. You know, and like the MCU is telling me a dope ass story, and there's fans who are fanatical about it who have never read a comic, and I'm not gonna knock them for a second, because they got that love that I have, and one day maybe they'll pick up a comic, just like one day I picked up a comic. It's always somebody's first comic, you know. So I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, we had this in the comic, we got to see this on screen. Like, people be like, don't you want to see Black Panther with an Infinity Gauntlet? No, I don't, because the MCU is telling a different story. And the Infinity Gauntlet would mean a whole different thing. And it was dope in Hickman's run. I don't need to see it on screen.
You don't want to see him with a cape, Ben? I mean,
the little cape with the little cape. Oh, I like the little cape. The little
I like
cape
all
was
that
dope.
shit, dog. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, you know, so those stories are gonna have to be somehow with, like, you know, T'Chaka, you know, or T'Chapa, you know, like we said. It's like it's effed up, but that's what we gotta accept. Is like, those stories just gotta be told to somebody else.
will not accept that. Just
no, I'm very concerned. No, I'm for real. I'm really concerned that when you make it more about the mantle, you actually make the characters expendable. Because let's just say, worst case scenario, and I don't support this, obviously, but for the people that are like anti-Shuri and like Shuri shouldn't have the mantle, you know, let's just say them. If they don't like her, they don't like Letitia Wright or whatever. And let's be honest, Disney, Marvel,
she might be on the way out anyway.
I mean, she might be.
So,
she might be.
And that had nothing to do with us. So
nothing. But I'm just saying, let's go with the character Shuri, right? Just the character Shuri.
Okay.
Let's just say she has a negative reception, and people are like, we don't like her. And Disney, because they love their image and they care about that more than money, I would argue. They get rid of her and they just throw somebody else in there.
The image is the money.
It is, right? It is. So what I don't want to happen is there to be like a revolving door around black characters and actors, where it's kind of like, look, can we let people build up their stories? Let us build that relationship with them. So that way, like you said, you could fall in love with a Guy Gardner or a Jon Stewart or a Hal Jordan or whatever Green Lantern you want to, rather than like getting rid of one and replacing them and like that revolving door. I don't think that works.
Get rid of that nigga.
I don't think that works.
It sounds like you're saying you don't want them to Aunt Viv T'Challa, but you want them to recast T'Challa.
It's
with the multiverse, you can make it work.
It's still
It's still both ways. I'm sorry.
You can make it work. I'm just saying, this is fiction. It's fiction.
You're right.
This is not.
I just still feel like
fictionalize Chadwick.
No,
it's still a both ways argument.
No, you
to
can't.
me.
No, it is. Because it's fiction. That's the only way this argument ever works, is because we're dealing with fiction. We're dealing with, I mean, the possibilities are literally endless. You could make a clone. You could do whatever.
So let's not limit ourselves.
You could do, but that's what I'm saying. It is a limitation.
We're going to be here all day.
No, I'm saying it is a limitation if you feel like the only thing you can do is kill off the fictional character of T'Challa because the real actor died. That is a limitation.
I think we have now come to a circular reference at this point. Because we are literally back to where we started with this art. And I think you said it perfectly, Emanuel, that there's really no right or wrong answer.
No.
I think what's most valuable, particularly about this conversation us three have had here, is that we've reflected a lot of the different standpoints that the internet at large have about this issue. Why it's even an issue at all, but also why it's an important discussion. So I think that's, for me, that's the biggest takeaway here. And I'm really glad that you came here to have this conversation with us. And then, you know, hopefully the other fools online, like, you know, we don't go through that bullshit no more.
Ooh, y'all gotta relax.
Y'all don't want that stress.
Man,
That's all I
got
gotta
called
say. Y'all don't want that
Coon.
stress.
You know, it was a lot.
Oh wow.
It's
Yeah, bro, it was a
unnecessary.
lot. It was a lot.
Bro, I didn't even see the whole thing. I
was
just saw like
a
a 2 thing. I saw a couple comments. I'm like, what the hell? That's why I posted that meme. Like, man, this escalated quick as hell.
Yeah.
It went from, hey, let's get on the show to name calling. I'm like, what is this?
Because I'm like, this thing, I will go back and forth with people, but when people start being, slick talk, I'm not for it. I'm like,
Ben, I mean, it's not from the internet, okay?
yeah, I'm not
At
from
all.
that era.
He
I'm
from Trey
the
Ward,
punch
okay?
I will punch you in the mouth era, like, and so when people, like, that's what bugs me, and people be like, Coon, this, and I'm like, you would never do it in person, fam.
Right.
Never. Let's
Yeah,
make that
yeah.
clear. Ever in
Well,
your life.
I want to make sure, like I said, I think we
Yes, ma'am.
got all of our conversations and viewpoints out on this and pretty in depth.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that we talk to you about some other stuff. All right.
Sure.
Just one more thing. Negative, positive, whatever. What are you excited about? What are you excited about? Let's talk about the future. Let's push Black Panther to the side for a second. What
No
are you
Black Panther.
excited about when it comes to geek and pop culture? What are you excited to see coming out, man?
I mean, I just got done buying out a theater over like 100-something seats.
I saw that, bro.
For Spider-Man No Way Home.
Excellent.
Love it.
I want to geek out with everybody. We did it last time for Far From Home. We did it for Endgame. We did it for Infinity War. We did it for Black Panther. But like I said, I mean, I know this might sound cheesy, but I do it for the kids. Like it's such a heartwarming thing to see the young 9, 10, 11-year-olds just watching this stuff. And, and like my oldest daughter, she's just gotten into Marvel and everything. So now I can kind of show her the ropes, the nerd ropes,
Yes.
And, I was like, yo, I'm buying out the theater. She was like, ooh, can I bring my friends? I'm like, come on now.
Of course.
So, like,
Come
that,
on.
you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
the time to flex on everybody.
Love it.
yeah.
Love it.
So
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
when you talk about like what I'm excited for, like I'm not even, I mean, as a critic, like I'll be watching the movie a little bit earlier anyway.
Yep.
But for me, it's about seeing the joy that it brings to other people. I mean, I remember in Endgame, Captain America with the hammer. Like I knew that moment was coming, and they didn't, and I'm just watching them like,
It's like,
so it's all that kind of stuff that that's got me geeked.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely, and Ben and I, we, especially now that, I mean, I guess it's kind of safe, kind of not. Omarion variant is out there, but, like we did the same for Black Panther, renting out a whole theater, getting people to come through, do the whole gala, the Wakanda
kids,
gala.
and then we had the
And
kids
then the next day,
screening.
the next day we did a screening. So for the kids, for and NAACP. So I understand that feeling, and that feeling of giving back. So that's absolutely important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, Ben, what's next.
Yeah, before we get you
Oh,
out of
man.
here, brother, we have to
Oh,
do
man.
this. We have our rap segment, our rapid fire questions.
Okay, I thought you was about to ask me to rap. I'm like, bro, that ain't my style. That ain't.
Do you
that ain't my
freestyle?
thing.
I
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
No, we won't do that to you.
Okay.
All right,
thank
this
you.
rapid fire, yes or no, this or that,
This isn't Rap
Okay.
City.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, don't take me to
Even
the
though I
basement.
love Rap City.
Please.
This isn't Rap
Don't
City.
take me to the basement.
Man, I missed the basement. Damn.
If Ticket come out,
it's
I'm
back,
gonna
right, Ben? I mean, Ben,
Yeah.
it's besides the point. Go ahead.
I
It
saw
is.
that. I was like, oh, it was. I couldn't really comprehend what was going on. I was like, wait.
Ben, the
Tigger-
multiverse opened up. Big Tigger is back.
Because
Bang, bang.
I know Big Tigger. That's my dude.
Nice.
Yeah, I used to live in DC and rock with him all the time. But
Mhm.
that man hasn't aged. So it really
At
fucked
all.
my head up, because I'm like, wait, what's going
Is
on?
this a
here?
replay?
The multiverse is real. But
All
yes,
right.
I feel you.
yes,
I
as Ben
feel you.
Amin was about to say, before we
Yep.
get you out of here, we have to take you through the BRAP segment,
There we
which
go.
is our sometimes quick fire question and answer segment. We're going to give you some choices. You pick between the two. If you feel like you need to explain
Mhm.
or have your reasoning, please feel free.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think.
All right, that's good.
All right.
Go ahead, Ben Amin.
The Falcon or War Machine?
War Machine.
Magneto.
And
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the only reason
See?
is because I don't think Falcon is given enough love to build up his character. I need them
He
to
just
give
started.
him more. I know, but I'm just saying, even from the comics, like I need more than just we gave him a mantle He dealt with racial issues, and that's it. I need more.
Okay.
I just need more. That's all.
Okay.
The War Machine.
Magneto or Professor X?
Magneto.
The Wire or Breaking Bad?
Oh! Okay, I'm going to put my film critic hat on. I'm going to say Breaking Bad. Only because. Only because. And let me say, The Wire is literally like goatish material because of the writer's strike. That final finish for The Wire was, it hurt. It hurt. And you could see a dip in quality. You could see the dip in quality. It had all the potential to be the greatest of all time, but at least Breaking Bad gave me a more complete package. So
I mean, you could see a growth in quality once Giancarlo showed up, but that's a whole other story.
100%. 100%.
Well, I mean, that means the first two ain't that good, but anyway.
They're not. So. No, I'm not going to argue. You're right. You're right.
All right. Go ahead, T.
You like horror movies?
Absolutely.
All right. Mike Myers, Freddy, or Jason?
Freddy. Freddy.
There we
He's
go.
funny.
I love it.
He's too funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great one. Storm or Misty Knight?
Storm. What? The Queen Goddess? What?
Facts.
I don't even like the fact that I had to choose that, by the way. But, like, how dare y'all?
I mean, actually, when I read it, I'm like, this is not a good one. Like, we got
No, it's not. But,
we got to fix that one. That's like no contest.
I mean,
it's like, yeah,
definitely Storm.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince or Martin?
Oh,
yeah, that'll get you.
He did a Team Rocket fadeaway sound.
I know, right? I'm gonna go Fresh Prince. I'm gonna go Fresh Prince only because it was more multidimensional. It gave us comedy and drama, and it hit both times.
How come he don't want me, man?
Man, listen.
Yeah.
To this day, it's hard to watch that one.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard.
Shit, the one where Carlton gets shot is hard.
Oh. You know, but I mean, and that's no slide. That's no shade to Martin. I mean, Gina, that ain't no damn puppy. Like I will cry laughing. Like, yeah, but we'll go Fresh Prince for that.
All right.
I don't like these questions.
Yeah, nobody ever does.
No one's supposed to.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'm going to say Star Wars, but not because of the movies, but because of Clone Wars, the animated series, and Rebels.
God tier.
That was the only thing that like saved the whole franchise for me.
Damn sure did. It brought me back.
That was it.
Yeah.
Because them movies was lacking.
It brought me back.
In any medium, what character's death hurt you the most?
T'Challa's.
I knew you'd just say that shit.
I mean, it. You know, why are we here? What are we doing here? No, but for real, I mean, like when I was watching Endgame, so I was in a press only critics, viewing.
Yeah.
I'm like there's not a lot of us.
No.
Like,
we know we were in there too.
But,
same.
You know, but I'm sitting here. It's dead quiet. Everybody getting Bucky. Everybody going. I see T'Challa. I'm like, like I literally. Matter of fact, if you go back to, I want to say the Chicago Tribune or something like that, one of the critics actually talked about me yelping during that moment.
Nice.
So it's chronicled now.
Nice.
You know, but yeah, that was definitely it.
The fun when I saw Infinity War, I saw it in Cali, and it was like early in the morning, and it wasn't anyone in our screening.
Really?
It was at the damn the one with the 2 floors, the big ass theater, and it was maybe 50 people in there because I sat in the balcony, and there was like 10 people in the balcony at most. So it was like more that like you just sitting there like, damn, that was terrible. It was like you didn't have nobody to commiserate with. It was just like
right. No, I was legit sulking, and everybody was like, "Wasn't it a good movie?" I'm like, "Shut up."
I walked out. It was like bright ass LA day, and I'm standing there like I can't tell nobody about what just happened.
Right,
it's a beautiful day outside, and I'm crushed.
You hurt.
Yeah. All right.
Pain, 1993.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben.
If you could have any one superpower, what would it be?
Time travel.
Nice.
All right, just a couple more.
Okay.
Name something that you love that most folks don't. It could be a movie, book, food, a character, anything.
Something that I love that most folks
Or do you ask like candy corn? If you do, I don't know. I can fuck with you. You
I
like
can't
candy
mess
corn?
with candy corn.
All
I
right,
can't
good,
mess
good,
with candy
good,
corn.
good,
Candy corn, black licorice. No, we can't. We can't play together. This is super weird, and I'll just go with this just because I like my pizza very burnt and well done. So you get that to me extra crispy,
Wait,
dark.
where'd you say you from again? You from Chicago?
I'm Chicago.
Okay,
I'm
that's
Chicago,
why.
but this-
Deep dish
this-
burnt?
I'm from East New York.
No.
Okay, yeah, the
We don't do
thin
that.
burnt though. I get it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I just need that. I don't want no white cheese.
That sounds like
Yeah.
the biggest travesty in the world. I can't believe you
This
just said
is
that.
this
Oh
is
my
an
God,
E-Man.
that was wild disrespectful.
This is an E-Man exclusive. It's just me. Look, my family gets their whole other pizza, and I get my own little personal
Burnt ass pizza?
because I want my burnt pizza. Just
What
listen.
what is it about the burnt pizza that
Listen,
satisfies you?
listen.
What is this?
Me, and cheese have a disruptive relationship.
The
So
dairy.
when you burn it, it's better.
Okay.
It smooths it out. So we got a troubled relationship. You
Wow,
know,
disrespectful.
It's a little abusive,
No.
but it is what it is.
I reject that. No.
You ain't gotta eat it. It's mine.
Absolutely
It's mine. I promise you. You ain't gotta eat it.
All right. Who was your first geek crush?
Oh, I think that's gonna be Kimberly the Pink Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah, we'll go off of that. We'll go with that
Understandable.
for now.
I'll
Yeah.
take that.
Yep.
It was either that or Roger Rabbit's Jessica Rabbit.
Mhm.
It was one of them.
Yep.
Okay. This is the last one.
Yeah.
Comic books or hip hop? One gotta go in its entirety. Which do you choose?
Jesus. I don't want to play this game no more.
This is your last question.
I don't.
The multiverse will collapse in on itself like Strange Supreme did
I
to
don't
his
think
fucking
you
universe.
So, like,
Unless you make a decision.
oh, this is the incursion event. Okay. That's what we on.
Yep. Worlds crashing together.
Right. So now I got to pick one or the other.
Yep. You got to choose one world. Curtis Blow like, save me.
You know what? And I will do this just so that I don't lose all my subscribers and having hate mail coming after me. I'm gonna say we gonna save hip hop.
Okay.
We're gonna save hip hop only because it's got a bigger reach.
Mhm.
It has a better influence, at least when it's positive. And I know comics are dear to me personally. Like, that's my thing, but I don't want to take hip hop away from the world. So we're gonna save hip hop.
And you already chose Breaking Bad, so you don't want to erase your
I
black
know,
card completely.
I know. Look, I got one whole punch. You don't want
to erase that card completely.
I mean,
bro.
if you were to ask me, like, what am I going to sit down and watch?
Yep.
I'm going to watch The Wire.
Yep.
Like, but if I had to pick and be technical about it,
Hey, just watch that card, bro. Just watch the card.
I know. My
all
tire's
right.
slashed already. It's cool.
Emmanuel E-Man Noisette, you have survived the BRAP segment.
Yes.
You have also survived an interview with For All Nerds. Congratulate yourself. Big up
Oh
yourself.
my goodness. Oh, that was something.
Before we get you out of here, please let the internets know where they can find you or anything you want to plug, any projects or things you got going on that you want to talk about.
Yeah, hey, look, you can find me online, social media, E-Man's movie reviews. It's E-Man, just like He-Man without the H.
Nice.
It's if you want Facebook, that's where you're gonna get the news, the memes. You definitely want to come for the memes. The memes is where it's at. YouTube, we do lives every Wednesday for the Marvel shows, and every Friday just for general news recaps and everything. I would highly recommend coming in on the YouTube lives. It is a beautiful family and community there. We have fun. We talk about the news from the week, and just have a really good time. But yeah, that's where you can find me at E-Man's Reviews. And if you happen to be interested in the Recast T'Challa movement, I would welcome you to go to change.org/Recast T'Challa. You can see what it's all about. Where I stand on this whole petition. in this position. And you know, if you want to sign, cool. If not, I understand.
All right, and there you have it, everyone. So stay tuned for more For All Nerds.
I'm Professor Brandon Obunu.
This is Danny Lore, and this is Vida Ayala.
My name's Genevieve King.
This is Peter Ramsey.
This is Hiro Karangala.
This is Lexi Alexander.
This is Antoine.
And you are listening to...
I am listening to...
I'm listening to...
I like to listen to...
I'm listening to...
I'm listening to...
We are listening to...
For All Nerds.
And what's up, y'all? And welcome back. And yo, real quick, big shout outs to Emanuel Noisette, E-Man, for joining us here. That took a lot right there, y'all. You know what I mean? He stepped into the fire. My man was ready to represent. We had it out. We discussed our viewpoints. You know, we came to some middle grounds, you know, and hopefully some understandings. And hopefully understandings, you know, some recollections. And hopefully y'all out there, you know, came to some peace and chill out.
Basically, I'm going to say it. Watch your mother... No, I'm joking.
I mean, no, I'm not.
But I'm also serious. I'm joking, but
Yeah.
I didn't have to cuss about it. But I'm just saying, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, for real, watch your mouth. Because, and I said it during the interview, Ben Amin is not from the internets, okay?
No.
He is not from the internets. And myself, you know, I'm about that. I'm about the smoke, okay? I love it.
and
And
this
we
ain't-
have people
yeah.
on our team that's about all the smoke. So don't fucking do this.
And this is not a threat in any way, shape, or form. This is just reality. Like, you will eventually see someone in the streets that you talk wild to. And and eventually
'Cause
you're
it
gonna...
always happens.
It always happens. And this world we live in is a lot smaller than people think it is. And I don't forget names or faces very easily. So, you know,
So just watch it. Like, it's okay to disagree with somebody. It's
fine to
okay
disagree.
to have your own
Yeah.
opinions. But there's certain way you can communicate it and calling people out their names like that, especially when they didn't do it to you, is unnecessary.
Especially when they don't know who you are.
Like I said, if you deserve to get cussed out, you gonna get that. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like off break? Off top?
And I still don't even know who you are. Anyway.
Okay, Thanos. I don't even know who you are. Thanos the Wanda.
It ain't like Wanda. Like, you know, Wanda actually let him know. Y'all still ain't letting him, you know, I still don't. Anyway, once again, thank you, E-Man. Thank you to everyone who wanted to, you know, have this discussion. And now, since it's been a minute, you know we got to come back with one of my favorite segments. Thank you to everybody who's sending their questions for the geekly asked questions. The Guac is Extra, where we answer any and all listener questions. And before I forget, because it's been that long, if you are a member of the Fan Fam, the few, the proud, the millions
and millions
at patreon.com/forallnerds, you get a guaranteed Guac question. You can send in and ask whatever your heart desires. And if you're one of those Fan Fam, you get all kind of other good stuff, you know, secret behind the scenes, contests, giveaways, all that. So head over to patreon.com/forallnerds and please support the Fan Fam. And what do we have up first?
The first Guac question comes from Always Late with the number 8 at the end. That's the handle with the title or the name Openly and Excessively Blacksinated. I just wanted to say that.
Nice.
They write, did y'all watch Why the Last Man? If you haven't already talked about it, would love to hear your thoughts on season 1. You go first, Ben.
I got midway through it, I think. I think I went through like 6 episodes and I was done. And then when they said it was canceled, I was kind of like, well, you know, what's the point of going on? And honestly, I did not think it was that good. Like, I'm a huge fan of the comic book and I just thought it missed.
Okay. Even though I actually have the first trade of it, I've never even got into it. I like the series. I disliked both Yorick and his sister Hero. Their characterizations, anyway. I highly dislike the both of them. Yorick is on the top of that pyramid, but I highly dislike both of them. That being said, I still like this series because I particularly Agent was 355.
Oh, she's so much better in the book.
Sure, but she's good. But what about people who haven't read the book?
Yeah.
I fucking like the I like the actress that played her. I like the imagery. I liked what that particular character, as we're learning, is standing for, and how she's also evolving. So I fucked with that character. I fucks with the show. I don't know what episode I'm on now. I mean, and that's another thing. Will it matter whether I get to the end or not since they canceled it? And I'm kind of mad because I'm like, I was really actually enjoying this show. So total opposite of Ben. I'm having a blast with it. Not done with it yet, but I'm having a blast with it. So
no, I would.
I just get mad though. I just do get mad at bitch ass Yorick.
Yeah, I hated him, and in a way that I didn't hate him in the book, and I think that was because of the writing, because they made his decisions just completely illogical.
Like the decisions in the show, and the decisions are not only illogical, and it's so funny because we all know like characters don't do what you want them to do because otherwise there will be no story, right? But it does it still, even in that context. It's like, why the fuck would you do this, dude? Like to me, many times I'm watching, I'm like, yo, nigga, why are you derailing the story? And yes, it's called Why the Last Man, but I feel like this nigga is getting in the way of the story. And I don't think that was the intention. Like, I don't know if they need to dial back his annoyingness or what, but it was just giving too much. And then his sister is a step below him for me. Like, she's also they're both very incredibly selfish. And one thing I cannot wrap my hand around is selfishness during an apocalypse. I don't see it.
Yeah. And my issue was like in the comics, he doesn't come in. I think Hero does at a point. I'm not even sure if she does, but York definitely does not come in contact with his mother. So he never has to, he never has to be like, oh, my mom's president now. Maybe I should do something smart. So that
nigga just does
that made him too idiotic because they had him meet his mom, and I just thought that was a bad choice. So
he's a man child. That's how he's being portrayed, and perhaps that was the direction they wanted to go. I don't know. All I really want to know is what the fuck really happened behind the scenes for them to abruptly cancel the show, because I didn't hear anything about them having terrible reviews or terrible ratings.
The ratings were probably in the toilet.
That bad though. Like I didn't see anything like. I didn't see anything that was to the point of saying, oh, this is abysmal. I never saw nothing like that. I saw people watching it. I saw people talking about it on socials.
Sparsely. Let's keep it real.
Well, my thing is, I didn't see anything that would indicate like, yo, this is so trash. We got to pull the cord right away. Like, we've seen that in other things. I didn't see that with this. So then to me, it was just like, oh yeah, we're done here. And the way that the producers and other people like communicated it, I was like, yo, what's actually going on behind the scenes? So.
Well, they spent so much time bringing it to screen, and with that time there was so much money. Like, shout out to my brother Michael Green.
Is this a free mantle thing?
This was a lot of things. Like Michael Green and other people were involved. The dude who plays Druig in Eternals was York, and there's a whole pilot that was shot.
Oh, he would have been amazing.
Yeah, there was a whole pilot shot in the can that they scrapped after it didn't work out right for whatever reason, and then they had to do a whole nother one. So it's like, and then if the ratings were just not that good after you spent that much money and that much time, you're gonna be like, all right.
Because I'm saying it wasn't like 0 people were watching, but maybe it just wasn't enough
nowhere near enough for the money they spent.
Okay, got it.
This needed to be a Game of Thrones type hit,
especially with Diane Keaton, right?
Yeah, come on now.
That's big time. So
ain't nothing
that means
cheap
big time
here.
money.
Yeah, them helicopter crashes, all that shit. That shit ain't cheap. Like
And that's another thing. It's not low budget, so it looks good. It has nothing to do with that. Like effects and things that were happening, practical or otherwise. Like they were fine. So it has nothing to do with the way it looked. So that wasn't a thing. So
I don't know who directed these episodes, but they had Shorty who did Formation do the pilot. The first time out, like they spent, that's what I'm saying. It was top tier talent.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know, but Ben was like, go to hell. I was
no. Hey, look, the book is so much better.
You just don't like it, bro. You don't like it.
Right.
I like it. I will continue to watch it,
There's
but
better-
but as we know, it's quiet for Why the Last Man.
Pretty much. Does not seem like anybody else is picking that up.
All right.
Next up.
Comes from Dr. Randall, PhD. I see you.
Nice.
You know who you are. I'm not gonna say your whole name. Just want to give you some privacy. But I see you. They write, I love your podcast. Thank you. And thank you for the podcast as a plural, because you know we have more than one. Thank you. I'm a nerd interested in your take on Dune. Will you all do a podcast of this movie/book? I would love to hear a review from our perspective. Thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about Dune, to be quite honest with you.
I know
Except
a
for
lot
what
about it.
I'm told. I know you know a lot about it.
Yeah, and what I know, I don't like that much. Dune is definitely, as in the book, a white savior story in a really bad way. And then it turns into like a white man just being like the most evil thing in the world so that humanity will survive. But he does so much evil. It should be really interesting to see what they do with the next two movies. I still haven't watched the first one because I just don't care, honestly. Like,
do you care with Zendaya being
but
in
she's
there and
she's
everybody
gonna
else?
be more in the second
Timothy
one.
Chalamet.
But even in
You know
the
what?
books, like they're gonna have to do things to improve her character because her character is just not that prominent. It is
That's what they
Timothy's
said,
story, no matter what. So they're got to change stuff up. And they definitely are trying to, like, people told me, and from reviews I read, like it opens with like, this person is not our savior, this person is our destroyer, and then they cut to Timothy. So it's like they're saying that, but once again, like we said in the interview just now, he's still the protagonist. And that is where it's going to come into a conflict with what you're trying to say and what people are taking from it.
Right. You weren't excited to see Drax the Destroyer again?
No, I heard it's beautiful, but that's another thing. I'm not a fan of. I think Denis Villeneuve is dope.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis. I'm saying his last name wrong, but it is
Yeah,
Denis.
I thought Arrival was dope.
Yeah, Arrival was amazing.
But Amazing, dope. You know, it's a good movie. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I'm not gonna watch it. Like,
one person's dope is one person's
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it
amazing.
multiple times, but maybe someone else will. Blade Runner, I did not enjoy. I thought it was weird, you know, on a lot of levels. Like,
I fell asleep a few
I think it's super beautiful, but I think it's like, once again, the message, I can't up with it. So I'm not like, I think this dude, you know, makes dope visuals, but I just don't know about what he's saying with their films.
He
too much.
ends up very hit or miss with his work, and because he has this grandeur vision of of everything he touches, and that's cool. But again, it's very, very hit or miss. And I want to go to his IMDb because there's besides Arrival, there is particular.
Did he do the one with the women?
What one with the women?
With the monster, like with the infection of the planet, like where it's the area that they go.
You talk
That's
about
not
where
him.
people turn into trees and shit.
Yeah, that's not him. No.
Oh, no, that's not him. I know what you're talking about with Natalie Portman, right?
Yep.
No, that's not him. But why you didn't fuck with that?
Not really. I thought it was, weird.
To this day, I'm fucking disturbed by that movie.
Yeah,
and I
that's
saw it
more
on a
about it.
plane, so I couldn't get off the fucking planes, and it bothered me. So
yeah, it was like, that was weird. That's how I felt about the movie.
It was super fucked up weird. Yeah. So I it's not a bad movie in my head. It was just fucked up. I mean, he did Sicario. I don't know if you saw Sicario.
Oh hell yeah, it's fantastic. But
okay, well, he did that.
The messaging. Yeah. All right, let's leave it alone.
Okay. Okay, so basically, but to answer the question, are we going to have a podcast of the movie/book? No.
Probably not. I missed it when it was on HBO Max. I have a screener for it now. I think I could watch, but I'll get to it at one point.
It was out already.
Yeah, they took it off of HBO Max. It was only there for a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be back in a few months. Yeah.
She'll be back. All right. Next question. Let's say, well, and you know what? Actually, is some of these are questions, some of these are statements. Like we put out, we put a note saying, hey, of course we've been on break. We hope everybody's good. Anything you want us to talk about, right? Vilmatic650 wrote, I want more comic book talk. So much good stuff has hit the shelves the past couple of years. I often wonder if they will ever be covered in the Comics I Cop segment. Ben, did you have anything to say to that, just in terms of anything you wanted to pick up right now?
Whew, I mean, they're right. There is a lot of good stuff. The thing is, Vilmatic, please use the hashtag comments I cop because
Please, y'all, use this hashtag. Like, this hashtag is years in quality.
And also, I want people to you to post it because I don't know what good stuff you're reading.
Right. And
I might be reading other good stuff.
We actually click on the hashtag to see what people are tagging to this so we can get some new picks and things like that. And then of course y'all see sometimes even the accounts will RT people and be like, okay, this is cool, whatever. But we want the point of the Comments I Cop hashtag, amongst many points, one is discovery. Yes. And again, we personally use the hashtag. We want everyone else to use the hashtag. We want y'all to both post with it and click on it to see what people are saying to read or what they've picked up, what they're trying out, because this gives you kind of a wealth of options when it comes to comic books and graphic novels and things like that.
Yeah, so please use the hashtag. Please tag us in it when you do, so that way we know. As far as what I've been reading lately, I'm still getting my way through Crescent City Monsters right here, which is fantastic, from Newton Lillavoice and Giancarlo Bernal. It's about people in New Orleans fighting against monsters. It's like the kind of a Lovecraft, Lovecraft Country type, story with some of the illest black and white art that you would ever see. This shit is stupid art. Crescent City Monsters from Dream Fury Comics. So you can pick that up. Gather Your Demons by my brother, PSO Earthtone, if you know him from his hip-hop styles. But as a writer, he's known as Alex Ampadu Jr. It's an illustrated graphic novel. You actually cannot buy this yet. I have a promo copy. Sorry, y'all. He's talking to some publishers now. But, reach out to him. PSO.
Just flexed on y'all.
Yeah, reach out to my brother PSO Earthtone. You might be able to get a copy from him directly.
He said no.
I just finished Immortal Hulk's run, which I thought was fantastic throughout. I wasn't really blown away by the ending, but as a whole run, I thought it was fantastic. Always well worth checking out. I also just finished Die by Kieran Gillen.
Oh, good. Is that finished?
It's finished. It's very short. It's only 20 issues long. The whole run is 20 issues. Dope story, incredible story. We've talked about it before. If you like fantasy, if you like role-playing games, I highly recommend Die. It's an ill story and it's only 20 issues. Also, we talked about this on Views from the 616. The Hawkeye series from Matt Fraction and David Asia is a great read, especially if you're watching Hawkeye right now. And everything from the goddamn X-Men universe is just the best thing ever.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Inferno is in, I think, the next issue of Inferno, I think, might drop tomorrow. The Trial of Magneto is fantastic. The X-Men series itself is fantastic. I'm just loving everything they're doing over there at Marvel with the X-Men. It's so dope. That whole world, the whole Krakoan world they've created. I love it, and I can't get enough of it. So, yeah.
I'm going to throw, as Ben Amin said, my ring into the hat. I'm going to mention Not All Robots by Mark Russell. I've been reading that.
Mike Deodato on art.
I need to read book 5 because, I get to see book 5. But anyway, Not All Robots, incredible book. I had mentioned it maybe many shows before, but I'll just explain real quick again. The synopsis is: in the year 2056, robots have replaced human beings in the workforce. So basically, it's just a world where literally everything is run by robots. They're the only things working, and people are home like hamsters. The robots take care of them in every way, shape, or form. And the robots is an uprising at this point. So you get to see what happens during the uprising. And I use quotes because goddamn, there's a lot going on. It's pretty dark, but it's dark humor as well. The art is I don't know how to explain the art. It's like horror / poppy art / I mean,
it's very realistic. Mike Deodato is people might know him from Avenger, from a lot of other stuff. He's done mad things, and he's been in the industry for a long time. So he's got a hyper realistic style, and
it's like hyper realistic. Yeah.
And then it's super dark.
Yeah, super,
Yeah.
super dark. So, like, if you're coming here, you're trying to find a good time, it's like, oh, robots and humans getting along. This ain't the story for you. But it's just, and it's also it's lots of tongue in cheek indictments on, you know, our reliance on AI and robots and things like that. It's also satire thrown in there. Like, it's just a smartly done book, and I'm really loving it. So, again, Not All Robots. I recommend it.
All
Comments
right.
I copped.
Yep, and I second that. I've read 4 issues so far, I think, and I'm loving it.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, the next one comes from Kuzi 3D. They write, did y'all have a good time on vacation considering the pandemic is still a thing? Yes, Kuzi. I know the pandemic is a thing, and we talk about that all the time, as evidenced by our interviews with Dr. Brandon Obunu.
We got to bring him back,
epidemiologist.
Pat.
We got to bring him back because, again, we got to talk about the Marion variant.
Yeah, maybe next week.
But yes, and that's why I still mask up all the time. Even when the pandemic is quote unquote over, I'm probably still gonna be wearing masks. I am fully vaxxed. I am about to get my booster shot. Like, I'm all over that. That being said, yes, I am traveling as safely as possible. I just came back from Brazil, and that was an amazing experience. Kuzi also said they are expecting a bunch of new AKAs. I ain't got them yet, but I got you in the new year. But I mean, just mention a few. Kilometer Morales. I want to punch him in his fucking face, bro. And he's lucky we're not physically in the studio right now, because I like dead in his face.
Shout to Mellow Marketer, because someone else used that and he told me about it. So I, you know.
So this is stolen goods.
It was secondhand jacking, you know.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
But Kuzi said, welcome back. Thank you. The next one is cut off, so I can't really see.
Oh no, they're
thing.
from I don't know their at name, but Mr. Cambosos said, what characters do you want to see in a Marvel flick or Disney, MCU, any of that type of stuff? And that's actually a few people asked, you know, what were we most excited from Disney Plus Day and all that. So I think that's a double combo. We can answer that. What were you most excited from Disney Plus Day?
I don't remember that day, man.
I mean, out of all them series, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvels, you know, which one got your attention?
I think She-Hulk. She-Hulk, excuse me. I'm sorry, I don't know where that pronunciation came from, but I think She-Hulk. Because I just want to see a badass bitch fucking going ham. Like, I do. Like, I want to see Jennifer with an AH at the end. So I think She-Hulk for sure. Listen, it's Marvel also. I'm fucking excited at almost everything they fucking do, to be quite honest with you. And no, this is not a cop-out answer. No, it's not a blanket statement. Like, they don't really miss.
No.
And again, a lot of this stuff, especially when you talk about folks like Moon Knight, like, this is new to me too. Like, I don't know shit about Moon Knight. I never read all these comics. So I'm interested in all of these different stories because it's bringing me into the fold with these, and I'm not the only one with these new people. I'm like, well, how do they fit in the MCU? What's their powers, or what's their deal? And I think it's just interesting.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, even shit like Hawkeye, which I'm not that excited for. I mean, tomorrow's Wednesday and I can't fucking wait. Like, you know, new episode. Like, let's go. Let's see what we got from Marvel. You know,
y'all. Like I said, I felt the different ways so far about Hawkeye. Y'all can listen to that of how I feel.
I'm hoping tomorrow's that car chase. Oof.
Okay, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
But I have positive thoughts on the rest of the series. But if you want to hear what we said about Hawkeye, you have to listen to Views from the 616. That is our MCU focused podcast. That was released this a few days ago on Monday. Yesterday,
depends on when you hear this, yeah.
But yeah, that was released this past Monday. So listen to that. Again, as long as you subscribe to For All Nerds, you'll get to listen to Views from the 616. All right. Next one from Ayers 0807. You just said that already. Oh, well, no, actually, this is slightly different. The announcements and footage made at DC Fandom.
Don't remember.
I mean,
Black Adam.
Black Adam. Yeah. Black Adam. Yeah. That's a good one.
I mean, that's honestly the only one I'm that interested in.
Yeah. The next
maybe
one,
the Flash. Maybe we'll see.
I want to say Wole. I mean, but it's like the number 3OLE_.
I think that's
all right.
it. Yep.
They said Eternals in the Marvel trailers. Listen, the Eternals, I felt like got a bad rap. I also felt like the reviews were all over the place. I didn't. Some people went in on it because they have their own ulterior motives. Ben Amin and I thought it was an amazing movie.
I can't wait to see it again.
If you want to again see how we felt about it, go on our youtube.com/forallnerdstv. You can go on our IG, you can go on our TikTok. Like we put exactly how we felt like when we first got out, like when we were in the theater and literally just first walked out, as well as our full thoughts on what we thought about the film. And we loved it. So, and again, I think a lot of people just don't like shit changing. They just don't like shit to be different, which is so odd. But I mean, it's Emanuel said it today, like in a world where there's magic and mystics and all this other stuff, why would you not like something different? Like, I don't get it, but whatever.
I don't get it either, but I do get it. You know, people want what they want. People have asked for like more of a spoiler review, and we're probably not going to do that much of it because I think we already said pretty much how we feel, and there's not much more to spoiler from it, you know, as far as like, I thought the fucking Celestial coming up through the earth was the illest shit ever, all right? You know, there's your spoiler shit. Like, Jesus Christ, that shit was
There's a red nigga in the sky, my God.
It makes absolutely no sense how the earth does not crack and magma is flowing out everywhere, but hopefully they address that later. If not, I don't care because a hand came through the earth.
The hand came
And now
up.
there's a Celestial in the Indian Ocean. I love it. You know, let's Joe Buck. I think that's it for Guac. Thank you as always.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and my computer froze, so it's not like I can help you anyway.
All right, well, you know, we're going to keep it moving. Thank you as always for sending in your questions. If you have a question, you can hit us up anytime, anyplace. Contact at forallnerds.com or on the Twitters, on the Instagrams at forallnerds. And like we said before, if you're one of the patrons at patreon.com/forallnerds, you can contribute to the mission and you can ask any question that you like. And this has been an action-packed episode, and we did 2 podcasts this week.
Supersized too, because this is probably like a 2-hour-long episode.
Yep,
but that's okay.
supersized.
We know we're in your pockets while y'all do the laundry, while y'all working and acting like y'all working, but y'all really listening to us. We know how y'all do, and we love it.
And
we
thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you, because that matters. Make sure, Ben Amin said, you know, you do the Patreons. Make sure you're subscribed on Twitch, twitch.tv/forallnerds, where you can watch us as well. It is an enhanced experience when you can see what we're doing and feeling and all the faces that I'm making because I cannot hide my face.
My ridiculous forehead.
My
favorite YouTube comment. Make sure you follow us on youtube.com.
Yes.
youtube.com/forallnerdstv, where you can read comments like that I have an 8-head, which is one of my favorite ones. Thank you.
I mean, unless someone says something like really wild, like we're
gonna
not
leave
gonna
it
really
up.
filter it. We're gonna leave it up.
I'll take 8-head. You know, whatever.
Yeah. Follow us, subscribe to us, whatever the button says in front of you on your favorite podcast platform. We are on every podcast platform known to man. There's no reason. Like, don't say, well, I couldn't find y'all. There's only one For All Nerds. And if you see another one, let us know because the lawyers are on their way. And really, and we the only blacks. We're on the only blacks with that name. Come on, man. It's us. So, yes. Just make sure you subscribe to following us. And also, if you want to be nosy about what we're doing in our personal lives and all that stuff, you want to see my thirst trap pictures, go to my IG or sometimes my Twitter at Tatiana King. You can get Ben Amin's thirst traps at DJ Benjamin. He may have thirst traps with the 8-head, who knows? But you got to go there to find out.
I mean, I've also been told I was ugly, so I don't know how many thirst traps I really have, but you know.
Fan Bros, F-A-N-B-R-O-S. For all nerds. Fan Bros, F-A-N-B-R-O-S. For all nerds. Fan Bros, Fan Bros, Vacation time. You and your girlfriend, too bad mind. Bad when you both combine. I don't know why you look so nice. Girl, you're not nice, you're rude. Want me to feel like I'm new. Want me to watch you do you. Don't get you look so nice, but you're not nice, you're rude. Look what you're putting me through. I'd never do this to you.
hold a corner, and it's no whining. One time, I need to hold a corner, and it's no whining. One time.
Right.